Hi, everybody. Um, Still working on the Daily Bugle. Obviously, we're now on bag 11, and let me do some organizing here. I don't know why they do this, but they put parts of the minifigures in different bags. I just find that odd. Well, here's what we got so far. I put the second floor one because taxi. I don't do stickers for anybody who's new, so I just left the stickers off. This would say taxi on the front. It would say taxi. Be a sticker down here. It would say taxi on either side. Sandman. This was a lot to do the make it look like he was up busting up through the concrete. That was a lot. And this is what we're working on now. I put all the figures so far up here. Sandman does count as a figure, minifigure, but all right. And we have Mysterio, and Mysterio, he looks like he comes with the new Daily Bugle, and I'm going off memory from what I saw this morning. There looks like there's more detail for Mysterio. I think there is leg printing, and I actually think there's a face behind his globe on his head, because this is faceless. So I don't think Daredevil comes with any other set, so we have Daredevil. And the Punisher, he does not come with any other set, so he's exclusive to this set. Here we have Aunt May and Carnage. So, all right. Let me see here. I'm going to shoot. So far with this build, I'm very annoyed, disheartened that these windows are a pain. To do all these windows, there's 5 high, and if this stuff isn't tied down tightly, they come apart quickly, easily, and it's annoying. So this is interesting. So all these pieces here, that's probably for the windows. Anyway, I mean, the set looks cool. Don't get me wrong, it's very cool. But there's just some minor gripes I have about it so far. And I did take a look at some of the gripes I have were gripes that consumers had when they posted about it on the Lego website. We did the reviews. So I'm probably not going to do a review. I can't. Well, I guess I could, but right now I have no plan to do any reviews. So we have a spider. Even in plastic form, these things are nasty. They're just, not my favorite. Okay, come on, come on, come on. Let's get this thing. I think a couple of these parts are like for a street lamp. All right, so this is the Green Goblin. So far, I have his pouch, his hat. Oh, come on. It's been a terrible problem of mine is dropping stuff on the floor. And then I dropped it on the dog, so he got a little. It's okay, Marty. At least it's not heavy. Okay. Oh, shoot. See the green goblin. It's got two faces. That one and that one. Got one that looks like sinister, and the other one looks angry. Let's go with sinister. All right, so we got our green goblin. Okay, all this stuff is bag 11. So all right, so let me see here. Doing the inside here. So the spider goes on the wall inside. I think they should have done this different. And then the spider web all right. So now we need 1, 2, 3, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4. Need 4 of the angled brackets, right angle. I probably won't finish this today. So 3 of the long ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not it. And 2 of the 3 stud. There's 1, 2. Okay. And due to my work schedule, so whatever doesn't get finished today, we'll save it for next weekend. More than likely Saturday. Because I work Monday through Friday. I have a real job. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But what is cool about the set, and one of the reasons why I bought it, was for all the minifigures. Um, 3 of these. 3. Got 4 of these. 2 of these. 2 of these. 1. 2 of these. 2 of these. Alexa, play 12:10 a.m.
1210 WPHT from Odyssey.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Smooth accelerators. When light turns green, you're off like a warm knife through firm butter. Going from 0 to the speed in an appropriate amount of time. Sure, your car has horsepower, but your horse is pranced around as simply smooth as your life. Fancy Prancerton. With Snapshots, save drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
And most of the consulting class is really rolling out DEI and in a superficial understanding of what it is, which is kind of follows the Mott Bailey fallacy of, on the surface, DEI looks like we want to treat people that are different with us fairly. Like, I believe that. I think we all believe that. But what is actually underneath that is critical theory, critical consciousness, otherwise known as woke, that is largely divisive across identitarian political lines, and it's a train wreck. So, we have some of the greatest minds in the understanding of critical theory, and in the understanding of the source code of what DEI really is, that can go into policy and go into company specs and to pull that out and replace it essentially with a culture of what you would say unit cohesion. Right, as a former military guy in the special operations community, I can tell you that being a part of an elite team, if I had gone into that elite team and said, okay, first of all, the majority of you that look like X are guilty of a historic sin before you were born, and you need to be reduced, and you need to listen to these amplified voices over here of these, 5 people in the work group, that would be a non-starter. Like, that is how you blow a team up, right? And so it doesn't work. So we're basically bringing back the idea of mission-driven unit cohesion. Shoe companies sell shoes, they do really well, they make profits, the teams are sold on that mission, they do well. And it's a much more rewarding work experience when you're a part of that type of team.
I tend to agree. I mean, Chris Rufo once, when I was talking to him, said that all of the idea of wokeness really breaks down to about 3 things. I later put this in a quant model and used it in an article. But the first part part is that all of society is intentionally set up to oppress. So classical Marxists think that society is designed by the rich man as kind of a trap. So everything that looks fair, like property law, is actually set up to benefit rich people. And every other model like this, like critical race theory, just kicks out the rich man and puts in the white man. Like radical feminism kicks out the white man and puts in the man, and so on down the line. So society is set up to oppress. Part two is that you can tell oppression just by the fact there's a gap between people. So like women make less money than men. And part three is the solution to any gap is equity. So if you see that you're hiring fewer Hispanic engineers than whites because whites have better test scores, the solution is just to hire more Hispanic engineers with worse test scores. Like, would you say that's pretty much accurate?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So now, obviously, Unified Solutions America, viewable at unifiedsolutionsamerica.com, is a for-profit company. Brooks, I mean, you've taken the lead on some of the design of the raise here, where we just launched as a company. How can people invest bluntly in the company? How can people learn about it and get involved?
Yeah, so if you go to unifiedsolutionsamerica.com, you can explore the invest page. Essentially what we're doing, right? We did this very strategically. We had access to, say, activist donors or venture capital class, but we really thought that this could be put in the hands of the American people. Like we put our trust in the hands of Americans that are against this. And so essentially we are doing a grassroots campaign because we believe that there are enough people that will act. There's enough people that believe this and they speak about it and will act on it. So essentially for the cost of a movie night out or a trip to the range or whatever you want to call it, you can have your voice heard. And basically we're comparing this to, back in the day to help with the war effort, people bought war bonds, right? I mean, we're essentially fighting a war here over ideological, politically charged doctrine in the workplace, and we want it out. And so, we need bullets and bandages, and we trust the American people to make that happen. So you can go to unifiedsolutionsamerica.com and take a look there, and everything is there that you need to do in order to buy a war bond or two.
Okay. Or two. Yeah, I mean, there are a couple ways to do it. I mean, I just searched because people are commenting on this on Twitter. Like they're having some fun with some plugging going on. It looks like people are also getting involved. You can also search Equity Street, that's EQUITY Street.
See what I mean about the thing not being tight?
Okay, so that's a bit of the business piece there, and I'm just saying unifiedsolutionsamerica.com one last time. Okay, so let's move to one other story that I think I'm going to launch the next hour with. Have you been following this Muslim Americans versus dogs thing?
I have heard about it in passing, but I'd love for you to explain it.
By God, I will. So, okay, there's a Muslim activist in New York City said, I don't want to see dogs outside anymore. New York City is now whatever % Muslim, and out of respect for your Muslim neighbors, you guys need to do what, lock your dogs up in the apartment or something. You need to keep the dogs all indoor, all outdoors, and don't buy any more dogs. So this person is trolling a little bit, but also quite seriously saying dogs are filthy in Islam. I don't want to see your filthy, ugly dog. And if you want any more mass Muslim immigration, you can't have these dogs. And Congressman Randy Klein responded and said, well, I really don't want any more mass Muslim immigration. If it comes down to a choice between Muslim immigrants and dogs, I would pick dogs. And this produced this hysteria online where all these people tried to present this as him being unprovokedly like genocidal or whatever the liberal word of the day would be. And Klein essentially refused to back down. Like he quoted the original tweet and said, I'm responding to this person who said this about a dog. And then he started AI generating like the libertarian Gadsden don't tread on me flag with pictures of different cute dogs like Beagle and Labrador. So it's like don't tread on me with Schnauzer. And right now, social media, Twitter and Facebook at least, are entirely dominated by people yelling at each other about dogs. But a lot of people are taking the conversation very seriously, like, I guess on the left, there actually is a debate about whether you would prefer more mass migration or dogs. And on the right, people say, well, obviously, I would prefer dogs. But there are real issues here. Can you now speak more freely given the liberation of Twitter? You know, should people adjust their life ways? Like, should you keep your dog inside of your Muslim neighbor? Any thoughts at all on dogs versus Muslims?
Well, this is reminiscent to the other reel that I saw recently, and it's basically a British guy who has arrived in China. And he's basically saying, I come from Britain, and there's a lot of Chinese stuff here, and it's really not my taste, and I don't prefer this. And we like more pubs, and we really like to, change some things about this and that. And he's making the point that you don't come into somebody's house that's not yours and put your feet up on the coffee table and turn it over, right? You come to another country, you're going to have differences there, and you're the guest.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Smooth accelerators. When light turns green, you're off like a warm knife through firm butter. Going from 0 to the speed limit in an appropriate amount of time. Sure, your car has horsepower, but your horse is prancing around as smooth as your right foot. Fancy Pranceton. With Snapshot, save drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits, and sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
Tired of AI search that misses the point and can't understand context? Voyage AI by MongoDB helps solve this. Built by a world-class research team from Stanford, MIT, and Berkeley, Voyage AI delivers industry-leading embedding and re-ranking models that capture meaning and refine results with precision. Whether you're building semantic search, RAG applications, or agentic AI, aim for greater accuracy and reliability without the complexity. Ready to ship AI that works? Start building at mongodb.com/build.
They don't make furniture like they used to. If you're tired of cheap, mass-produced junk, let me tell you about Bucks County Estate Traders. Their massive Hatfield showroom has over 16,000 pieces of high-end furniture. Brands like Stickley, Baker, and more. The kind of quality craftsmanship that stands the test of time. And you can save thousands compared to new retail prices. No matter your style, classic, modern, rustic, or traditional, you'll find stunning pieces that fit today's homes. Whether you're furnishing your living or dining room, home office, or even a man cave, Bucks County Estate Traders has it all. And unlike the big box stores, if you see something you love, you can take it home the same day. Every piece has a QR code which displays details instantly. And their expert staff is the best in the business with no pushy salespeople. They're straight shooters who know their stuff. And pro tip, check out their website and call ahead. They'll have the pieces you want ready to show you. Visit BucksCountyEstateTraders.com or stop by their showroom in Hatfield and tell them Nick sent you.
Finding AI complexity and unreliable results? Voyage AI by MongoDB delivers industry-leading embedding and re-ranking models. Build semantic search, RAG, and agentic AI with less complexity. Ship better AI faster at mongodb.com/build.
One iced coffee?
$1, please.
For real? No way. One iced coffee?
$1, please.
For real? No way. What a deal. New Morning Crew. Iced coffee from McDonald's, any size for just $1 until 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
My name is Dave Jansen. This is my wife, Patricia. We started with Crash Proof in 2024.
It's hard to know what would make the stock market fall in the future, but it's nice to know that we're protected against all those shifts that would happen in the marketplace.
With the Crash Proof retirement system, we earned 17%. That money is ours. The interest is put in as it's earned. We know that our money is safe and it will continue to grow with the market.
There was no fees taken out of what we made, and we did as well in Crash Proof as we would have in the market, and there was no downside.
Crash Proof retirement means to us that our future is bright and we're going to be able to go forward and enjoy our retirement.
Hi, how you doing?
Discover how the exclusive Crash-Proof retirement system can help you grow with the market without risking a penny of your hard-earned nest egg. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the William Penn Inn on February 17th. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Handing off your taxes? Get the best
Um,
from a local expert.
This is the third floor.
Folks millions trust to get their massive refund each year.
Here's
Now,
the back.
local experts right around the corner. Through February 28th, hand off
I'm
your
on
taxes
bag
expert for $150
11,
all in. If the TurboTax
but
expert filed for you last year,
some of these parts are
the latest tax laws, book an appointment at
too small for my hands, or my hands are too big for the part, and I can't get this stuff to sit correctly and tight, because when I put things in, they tend to fall off. Like I put this lamp on, and it pushed the entire wall in. So stuff like that. And these windows, these are 6 high. It's a pain in the rear end. So I wish, like the windows, they give it a certain look, like a block look. I can understand that. But I kind of wish that maybe they were like double in size. Okay, because then maybe they would be more stiff. But I'm dealing with it. I mean, so far I think it looks great, but I'm not putting any stickers on it. I don't do stickers very well, and I think it would just look bad if I did the stickers. So if I should ever sell the set or give it away or whatever the case is, somebody will have a fresh sticker sheet. So
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Smooth accelerators. When light turns green, you're off like a warm knife through firm butter. Going from 0 to the speed limit in a
like if I didn't, I put this up here all black and blank. I'm sorry, you can't see it. Like these are all stickers that goes on here. So I put this on here, otherwise you'd be looking at studs. So, and inside there's like pieces that you put on that are supposed to be like TV sets. If you don't put a sticker on it, just the TV set's off. That's the way I look at it.
The kind of quality craftsmanship that stands the test of time. And you can save thousands compared to new retail prices. No matter your style, classic, modern, rustic, or
Like you can see, like right here.
today's homes. Whether you're furnishing your living room,
See, I just pushed that in.
office, or even a man cave, Bucks County Estate Traders has it all. And unlike the big box stores, if you see
I
something
can't.
you love, you can take it home the same day. Every piece has a QR code which displays details instantly.
So.
And their expert staff is the best in the business with no pushy salespeople. They're straight shooters who know their stuff. And pro tip, check out their website and call ahead. They'll have the pieces you want ready to show you. Visit BucksCountyEstateTraders.com or stop by their showroom in Hatfield.
Now they're saying put this on top.
You're a developer who wants to innovate. Instead, you're stuck fixing bottlenecks and fighting legacy code. MongoDB can help. It's a flexible, unified platform that's built for developers.
Now this is the first modular building I've ever put together, so I'm having a little difficulty, like kind of lining up the studs. Right, and this piece here, this comes off, and that's really, there we go.
One iced coffee?
$1, please.
So
No way.
$1, please.
No way.
I got all this stuff lined up, but we'll see.
Deal. Your new morning groove. Iced coffee from McDonald's, any size for just $1 until 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
I think it looks good if you don't have to like touch it, and just to look at it. So I think it looks really good. Sandman this was a trip to make it look like he's coming out of the, busting out of the pavement, concrete.
I started with Crash Proof Retirement in 2024. I've averaged
Give me 1 second.
over the last 2 years. The market may be high now, but it will go down
Kathleen Rocket, Linehorn, PA. With the crash-proof retirement system, we've gotten over 10% this year. The market can still go down, but I don't lose any of that money. We're living proof of it. It works.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the William Penn Inn on February 17th.
I think another thing is too, because of my age, I got arthritis in my hands. I inherited
Finding AI
from,
complexity and unreliable results.
and
Voyage AI by MongoDB delivers industry-leading embedding and
it makes it a little bit more difficult to.
search, RAG, and agentic AI with less complexity. Ship better AI faster at mongodb.com/build.
To put stuff together.
Price tool, you can choose the best coverage option for you because you know you. Like, you know you can't cook. You're not one of those people who say that they can, but when people come over for dinner, they find out the hard way, you can't. You can't even microwave popcorn, and that's literally just one button. Plus, measuring and patience are huge parts of cooking, and that's just not you. Only you know you. So get coverage options within your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
If your drive-through orders sound like this,
So you normally buy modular buildings or Marvel products?
What is that one? I'm texting him. Oh, wait, I changed my mind.
And you just chose not to get this particular one?
Hi, can I get one cheeseburger patty?
Like I said, this is the first one I'm doing, and I bought it because I like Marvel. I mean, like these characters, especially Spider-Man. I mean, I grew up with Spider-Man.
You're jamming your favorite song, and while you aren't missing a beat, you could be missing a signal from your body. It's an SOS from your kidneys, and it doesn't sound like music at all. It's silent. High blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and other risk factors can quietly stress the kidneys, leading to negative impacts on the heart. That's why you should ask your doctor about a simple urine test called UACR.
Okay.
Most sense the signal from your
Yeah, I'm not going to be doing the city.
You shouldn't. Visit detectthesos.com today.
I don't see me doing a city, so.
wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Smooth accelerators. When light turns green, you're off. Like a warm knife through firm butter. Going from 0 to the speed limit in an appropriate amount of time. Sure, your car has horsepower, but your horses prance around as silky smooth as your right foot. Fancy Prancerton. With snapshots, save drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits and soccer.
There is one thing, though, about the modular buildings they do produce, and the reason why I kind of like Lego and collecting the die-cast cars that I do is because when you're looking at it, you see these colors and these different shapes, and to me, it's appealing. So, I mean, I see it as like miniature art. Now, I never thought about doing one of the Lego art sets. I don't think I would be able to get into it, but they look really nice. Like the one they got coming out March 1st. It's based off a famous painting, and it's got like a 3D type bridge on it. It looks fantastic from a distance. I mean, it really does. So, but I don't think I could get into art. I have a cousin who retired, and she went and started a hobby in gardening, and she told me she was having a problem getting stuff to grow. You know what I mean? So I bought her. I know I bought her one of the botanicals. I think I got her the bonsai tree. She loved it. Although she lives out of state, so it's not something that I actually saw completed, but she loved it when I sent it to her. So it was a really great gift. So.
When it comes to alcohol and other drugs, and when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underage.
And I do. I have a lot of the speed champions. I don't know. I probably got about 15, 20. And I like building those, but the small parts still kind of bother me. But I really like those. I did 2 Star Wars. I did the X-Wing, Poe Dameron's X-Wing the play one, not the UCS one, and I did the Y-wing, the play one, because that's my favorite starship from Star Wars. Is actually the Y-wing, other than the Millennium Falcon. But and I can't afford the actual UCS Millennium Falcon. The other ones I don't like. I like the UCS one, but I'm not going to shell out the money for that. But just sometimes I find it a little bit difficult. I don't know, maybe because I tend to press hard or not hard enough in certain circumstances, but.
And glad to be here, clearly. Now, as I mentioned before, if you want to engage with me, the talk line, call-in line is 855-839-1210. It's a holiday. We haven't been getting a ton of calls, but I mean, this is drive time. It's peak time for most shows. So if you do want to call in, now is a solid time to do it. I've mentioned these a couple times, so I'm not going to spam them outrageously this block, but I am the author of the book Lies My Liberal Teacher Told Me, where I look at some of the things said in kind of the modern educational curriculum, look at how true that is. You can check that out on Amazon or at your local bookstore. And you just heard a Brooks Crenshaw guy who was overseas for a couple tours with SEAL teams talk about Unified Solutions America, which is a business I'm also part of, which is kind of the first anti-DEI consulting firm. It's a fun, edgy idea. You can check out the website unifiedsolutionsamerica.com and actually get involved in the IPO, the Reg CF IPO. Solid chance to make some money and also to combat some of the issues that we've seen in the country in recent years. Now, turning to all these issues that we've been talking about, Brooks and I talked about this Randy Fine thing, Muslim immigrants versus dogs. So a pretty well-known person, and this was a member of
See, putting those in there, getting those to snap in is difficult for me.
That we need to be more tolerant of the sensibilities of Muslim residents of big cities like New York, and that means we need to give up dogs. And Congressman Randy Fine
fell on the floor.
Said, you know, I'd rather, in terms of immigrants, maybe especially Muslim immigrants, I'd rather we had less of them than dogs. So this created this back and forth, people screaming at each other. If you have any opinions on that, 855-839-1210.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, no, I know for a fact I'm colorblind. I absolutely understand that.
More significant as childbirth rates drop. So Americans have always been a very pet-loving population, but as people are getting married later, as they're having fewer kids, I mean, we are seeing almost a frenzied attachment to the animals in our lives. I don't necessarily know if that's good or bad, but under Fine's post, people were posting pictures of their dog and their gun and saying, you know, if you come for my dog, you're coming for a member of my family. You know, I would go to war for my dog. So there's a great deal of love for our four-footed, furry little buddies out there. And he loves us, I think, to people from other societies, definitely. I guess if I had to pick between people from pretty much any other society and my dog, I would pick my dog. My dog is named DH. I'm not going to upload a picture of my dog into any thread or anything like that because people in public think it's crazy. But it's,
now, right now, this is building the back wall here, so these are removable.
Or comments on mass migration, 855-839-1210. Another thing that was messaged to me on Twitter is the SAVE Act. So this is one of the things that I should have had in my original show notes probably, but so Congress passed a voter ID bill. And to me, it's kind of wild that we didn't have a voter ID bill in the first place. Voter ID, well, what if 25 countries or something like that didn't have mandatory voter ID in the United States? There are states that do, there are states that don't. But as usual, our complicated race and class and regional, even where we're such a federalist country, dynamic that kind of screwed this up. This had gotten caught up on the fence of all of these different kind of identity politics debates. The Democrats have argued pretty consistently for decades that it's racist to require ID because black people don't know how to get ID. And I will say, the one time I polled on this, the percentage of adult males, at least that have an ID, was 98% for blacks. It was 99% for whites. It was 97% for Hispanics. Like, you need an ID to get welfare. You need an ID to go to the liquor store. I'm not saying that black people or working class whites or whatever spend most of their time going to the liquor store and collecting welfare, but just, there are very few things you can't do without like that non-driver's license state ID. So I suspected most people had one, and I was proven correct very quickly. But anyway, that's been the argument. And so in some states you need like 2 bills and a college card. This debate's gone on for a long time. State Act passed Congress and says you need basically a driver's license. You need photo ID.
And this is going to be the window that gets busted out. So
prior to election days,
this is going to be interesting.
Get a cheaper ID, it's also basic. A passport is preferred. We're seeing more laws like this. I flew down to Florida this past weekend to do some filming with the Daily Wire, the legendary conservative brand, and actually got fined $40 because I didn't have my real ID on me. I had my ID, my license, but I didn't have my like laminated real ID. So they made me go to some government website and pay with a credit card and all this, and show them the receipt, like print the receipt with my phone plugged into some machine they had there at the counter. So we are requiring more actual identification of you and you to do things like get on first class on a plane or go into the voting booth. It seems pretty logical to me. Again, tell me what you think. I've given the phone line out a couple times. That's 855-839-1210. There's not much reason not to do it that I can see, but I guess the debate around the SAVE Act centers on the fact that there are now claims once again that this is going to disenfranchise the poor and it's going to disenfranchise minorities. A new group, though, that's coming up in this conversation is women. So the claim is that women are not going to be able to vote because the requirements are so specific. Like it's a new updated name on your driver's license and so on. So any woman that has been married, unless she updated her ID, would have to have, say, her driver's license and her marriage certificate with her. And quote unquote, no one knows where these documents are. So even Barack Obama has been posting and griping about how you're putting these insanely difficult barriers in place for American citizens. In reality, I would suspect that if people know this is the rule, all is pay $12 and get a new ID. But so this is the fight. It's worth noting that right now there are all kinds of incredible issues with voting. I mean, there are states where if you are not legally in the country and you go in to get a driver's license to vote by a motor voter, and technically you're not supposed to be.
All right, thank you very much. You too.
Tell them you're not legally
Thanks
here.
for
There's supposed to be a second level screening.
thanks for stopping in and saying hello.
I've seen this
I appreciate it.
in practice, and almost nothing happens. You just go from level 1 to level 2, and you are a voter. There are a bunch of places, so you can send in your ballot from your house. You can send in a large number of ballots from a shared residence. So a housing project or a senior center or something like that can mail in dozens at once. There's a famous video from what I think is Ilhan Omar's district in Minnesota where a guy is driving around in a car, literally hundreds of ballots in the car, and he's taking them to one collection destination. And the response when you point this out is, well, that's not voter fraud, that's all legal. To some extent, the more we crack down on this and just say, yeah, you have to show up with some kind of paper identification, in person, on time to vote, the better. It looks like we've got a caller on pretty soon. This is going to be Don in Franconia, Pennsylvania. Let me see. I think I closed the. A little warm in here as we start cooking. I think I closed the initial sheet where we were communicating about these guys, but at some point in the near future, Don may jump on. Say that we've got the general debate about whether people are smart enough to learn how to vote. So some interesting stuff going on there. Moving right on down the line. We talked about Sanders and artificial intelligence. Jonathan Haidt, this is an interesting from the production and prep team. Jonathan Haidt is arguing that social media and cell phones shouldn't be used by kids. So this is the FP, the Free Press. This is Barry White's site. And Haidt, he's writing himself, he's writing in the first person. He says, I just returned from 12 days in Davos, London, and encourage political leaders to raise the minimum age to 16 for opening or having social media accounts in their country. And he's got this whole idea of how to have a healthy childhood. So he says, this is the second of my 4 norms for a healthier childhood laid out in my book, The Anxious Generation, which is an interesting book. I mean, Haidt is a liberal, but he's an old school lefty a few times. But it's The Anxious Generation, how the rewiring of childhood is causing an epidemic of mental illness. Again, point break here. I'm not sure we have an epidemic of mental illness. I think we have an epidemic of doctors that will prescribe you a bottle of pills if you go in and say, hey, my hand's a little twitchy. I think I have ADHD. Opiate epidemic, right? So, like, I'm a former athlete. Whenever I go to a doc, and this is actually less true, by the way, in Appalachia, which gets made fun of a lot than in the upscale Chicago suburb. But every time I go into a doc and say, hey, I've got a football/cross-country knee, they'll say something like, hey, want some Oxycontin? And my or of a brace, we very definitely have gotten into this treatable, medical, more stuff every month culture. The diet pills your fiance is taking, look at the side of that bottle, it's probably phentermine, that's probably pretty pure speed. So it's the same thing with the SSR. From an early age, Adderall, all that. Adderall, again, is pure amphetamine. The ingredients in Adderall are amphetamine and salt. But at any rate, I'm not sure that these people are actually mentally ill. But so let's see what his norms are. He doesn't give us. He says his second norm is not having social media accounts. His first is having free play. Meaning that instead of your kid's day being entirely structured by you, the parents, like you go to practice, to school, homework time, just after age 10, it's safe. You just go outside and do things. You and your friends ride your bikes, and you build a fort in the woods. When you discover girls, assuming you have some basic understanding of consent, you kiss them, you ask them to the dance. This is how humans learn to interact with each other. And there's some level of risk to just life. And when you're 40 looking back on that, you might think, well, the risks we took were terrifying, but they were just part of becoming an adult. They really, in most cases, didn't hurt you at all. So anyway, Haidt says no social media until you're 16. Get out there, take the risks, play freely. Okay, so Don in Franconia, Pennsylvania. Okay, I think the team behind the board is going to put Don on the air. And again, apologies if we had an extra window open, which has a kind of Google Doc in it. I think that's been closed on my side. Let's see if we can reopen that actually. But if Don is there, let's put him on the air.
Good afternoon, Wilfred.
Is on the air. Hey, Don, you there?
I'm here, thank you. Good afternoon. I'm glad you're doing the show. Yes, I'm happy that you're doing the show, and thank you for doing it. And I wasn't going to talk about voter ID, but being as you mentioned it, I'll give you my little story about it. Back in the year 2020, when Trump was running for election, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Okay, back in 2020, when Trump was running for president, both my wife and myself were in line to vote. And Pennsylvania is not a state where you have to show identification. You just go in, give me your name, if it's in the book, you sign it, and off you go. Well, anyway, when they asked me my name, I gave them my wife's name. I said I was my wife. And the two women on the book that you signed, they're looking at each other. They didn't know what to do. And I had multiplexed. But I never signed the book. And before I got to signing the book, I said, no, I'm lying. Then I gave them my real name. But I made my point. And I just thought that was interesting to go along with what you're talking about. But what I called about today was the big, beautiful bill that Mr. Trump put through. A couple days ago, I had my income taxes done. And of course, this is the first time they were done under this new big, beautiful bill. Now, when I go back to a year ago, I had the same amount of money withheld from my pay that I did this year, or last year, and I owed more than I had withheld a year ago. When I did it now, I got a big refund, and I made more money last year than I made the year before. So here's a case of where the
bill helped you.
Bill helps the little guy.
I like that. Okay, so we got a good closing message from Don there. The big, beautiful bill helps the little guy. That's Don in Franconia. So thanks for calling in. Don got a big tax return, wants to give Trump credit for the big, beautiful bill. And I would say are trying to be fair to everyone here. The Republicans are better for the working class guy, the small businessman, the upper middle class guy. I think the Democrats, in a weird way, have become the party of the rich guy and the very poor guy in the slum. And I don't think anybody saw that coming 50, party of like the hard rock miner down here in Appalachia. But that's definitely not the case anymore. The Democrats are the party of welfare and Mark Zuckerberg. And the Republicans have kind of taken over everybody else, which is why you see these weird patterns like Trump winning 54% of blue-collar Hispanic men or 53% of union workers. Trump won. So, okay, thanks to Don. The point Don made that I want to hit on first before we get to the next caller, who I think is Joe or Joseph. So Don said, we always hear there's very little recorded voter fraud. They always say this. There are only 1,077 proven cases of voter fraud. Problem is, in most districts, in like a pleasant suburban town where they don't require ID, there's no proof of who you are. So there's no way to know how much voter fraud there is, if that makes sense. Like, this is a big guy who says, hey, I went in and said I was my wife. Clearly you're not. And all kind of sexism and election interference potential lawsuits, and there's like a 60% chance you wouldn't be allowed to vote. The way voter fraud works, as a Chicagoan who's the son of a union member, is two ways. One is what I kind of bumblingly said earlier, but it's voter registration. Like, you're a good guy, you're on a green card, no one's supposed to. Everyone in that group is mistakenly registered. The other way it works is what's called union proxy, where there's a guy, in Chicago the term somewhat offensive would be your rabbi, but there's someone down at the station house or whatever who knows that every fireman who isn't on vacation. And I've, of course, never seen this happen, but this is something that was widely discussed and reported in the papers until the past, like, 10 or 12 years. Everyone who's on vacation, something like that, has a proxy sent in to vote for them. That's the way it always used to work. No one was even that mad at it. I'm sure Philly had something similar, New York had something similar. But that's the way voter fraud. And young teachers to vote for all the young teachers that are teaching in class can't get out that day. Or you just have all of the people that aren't supposed to be registered to vote, legal immigrants, for example. Legal immigrants aren't supposed to vote generally. be registered to vote. It's not like one guy that just walked in drunk. It's like, ha ha. We got 4 minutes left here before we go to break. Let's go to Joe. This is Joe in Glassboro, New Jersey. What's up, Joe?
Hello, Dr. Riley. How are you?
Doing pretty well. Enjoying my first show with 1210 WPHT. How are you?
Very good, thank you. I listened to you on several occasions when you have Rich Noli on. So you do a wonderful job on that.
Thank you. I love my show.
He's a good man. I've met Master Rich a few times. I'm a former director of a county in southern New Jersey as a county commissioners, and I lost in 2024. We were straight Republicans, and I lost that year while Trump ran in 2024. All the way down, we had Republicans all the way down in our county. Except for me, I was on the chopping block, as they say. I lost by 50 votes, but the night before, I was up by almost 300 votes. And then when they closed for the night, provisional ballots took over. I think, knowing what I know about the election process, is that provisional ballots are a key problem and are not vetted correctly by the Board of Elections. Not just in my county, but I think in most counties in the state of New Jersey. Because if you look at it, we got to get real ID as of May to fly out here on any form of transport you wanted to, but yet no form of ID is required when you go to the polls. And I think there's a blatant problem with voter counts. When I was watching the polls that night, I see many people come up to places where they did not know that they were allowed to vote in that polling place. I said, well, you can go in and put in for a provisional ballot, but you have to prove where you live and if you live in the county. A lot of people didn't even know if they lived in the same county. And when you lose by 50 votes, you kind of wonder.
All right, boom. That's a great close there. We got about a minute left, but thanks to Joe. It's unfortunate to hear about that. I mean, a loss by that margin. I know how I'd be reacted for a couple of days. Yeah, I mean, the different types of ballots that we have, to someone coming from the business world who's looked at local politics, seem completely absurd. The whole idea of a mail-in ballot, unless you're an active duty soldier, is complete nonsense. When we say, again, there are 1,000 fake votes per year, we have no idea about that. You really think no one fills out a ballot for their girl, puts it in the envelope, sends it in? She's not going to divorce you. You know, it's impossible to track most of this stuff across a continental nation, and that's why we need to get an ID in your hand and get you to the polls and have you vote by poking holes in a piece of paper, which is something they figured out, that maybe for the ID part, in Athens a long time ago. All right, on that note, we're cutting out for break. This is a half-hour break. We're going to come back with Shamika Michelle, comedian, women's life coach, a bunch of other things. We're going to end my 3 hours on the other side of the break. This is Wilfred Riley News Talk, 1210 WPHT, Philly.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
You're a developer who wants to innovate. Instead, you're stuck fixing bottlenecks and fighting legacy code. MongoDB can help. It's a flexible, unified platform that's built for developers by developers. MongoDB is ACID compliant and enterprise ready with the capabilities you need to ship AI apps fast. That's why so many of the Fortune 500 trust MongoDB with their most critical workloads. Ready to think outside rows and columns? Start building at mongodb.com/build.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Smooth accelerators. Red light turns green, you're off. Like a warm knife through firm butter. Going from 0 to the speed limit in an appropriate amount of time. Sure, your car has horsepower, but your horses prance around silky smooth as your right foot. Fancy Prancerton. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Snapshot not available in California from all agents.
They don't make furniture like they used to. If you're tired of cheap mass-produced junk, let me tell you about Bucks County Estate Traders. Their massive Hatfield showroom has over 16,000 pieces of high-end furniture, brands like Stickley, Baker, and more. The kind of quality craftsmanship that stands the test of time. And you can save thousands compared to new retail prices. No matter your style, classic, modern, rustic, or traditional, you'll find stunning pieces that fit today's homes. Whether you're furnishing your living or dining room, home office, or even a man cave, Bucks County Estate Traders has it all. And unlike the big box stores, if you see something you love, you can take it home the same day. Every piece has a QR code which displays details instantly. And their expert staff is the best in the business with no pushy salespeople. They're straight shooters who know their stuff. And pro tip, check out their website and call ahead. You'll have the pieces you want ready to show you. Visit BucksCountyEstateTraders.com or stop by their showroom in Hatfield and tell them Nick sent you.
Tired of database limitations and architectures that break when you scale? Think outside rows and columns. MongoDB is built for developers by developers. It's ACID compliant, enterprise ready, and fluent in AI. Start building faster at mongodb.com/build.
When the market reaches all-time highs, investors who try to sell high are met with the same excuses from their broker. You're in it for the long haul. Stay the course. Don't sell now. You'll miss out on opportunity. But crash-proof consumers have not missed out on the recent market highs.
Mike McEachran, I'm from Goldville, Pennsylvania. Wall Street is volatile. You never know where the stock market's going to go. You never know how politics is going to impact it. And you never know how much your fees are going to be and what's going to be hidden that you don't really know about. With crash-proof retirement, our range of returns have been between 10 and 12%. I feel very comfortable with the returns we've gotten this year because we don't have to concern ourselves with the volatility of the market, and we never get charged a fee, never comes up.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event happening at the William Penn Inn on Tuesday, February 17th, starting at 5 p.m. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
I'm caught up in the game. My attention is on every play and every whistle. But what I'm missing is a signal coming from my kidneys. That signal isn't like a ref's whistle. It's more of a silent SOS, which could be warning me of an increased risk for events like heart attack or stroke. And a way I can catch that signal? A simple urine test called UACR.
Hello, Peter Newton. Hi, how you doing? Sorry, I was trying to tighten this stuff down.
SOS.com to learn more.
Hey, want a cookie? Oh, I know you just ate, so you're craving something a little sweet. Besides, one cookie isn't going to kill you. Have a half. Just a bite. Bite it. Bite it. Bite it.
Food noise isn't fair, but Mochi Health is. Your affordable GLP-1 source that puts you on a path to successful weight loss by quieting food noise.
Bite it.
Shh. Learn more at joinmochi.com. Mochi members have access to licensed physicians and nutritionists. Results may vary.
Shop President's Day savings at the Home Depot with up to 40% off select appliances like Whirlpool that can keep up with your busy routine. The Home Depot has Whirlpool laundry appliances with Fan Fresh. This feature fans that tumbles your laundry after it's done to help keep your clothes fresh until you're ready to dry. Shop President's Day savings now.
Oh,
get 40% off. Plus free delivery of select appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Free delivery on appliance purchases of $1,498 or more. Offer valid February 5th through 25th. US only. See store online for details.
Tired of AI search that misses the point and can't understand context? Voyage AI by MongoDB helps solve this. Built by a world-class research team from Stanford, MIT, and Berkeley, Voyage AI delivers industry-leading embedding and re-ranking models that capture meaning and refine results with precision. Whether you're building semantic search, RAG applications, or agentic AI, aim for greater accuracy and reliability without the complexity. Ready to ship AI that works? Start building at mongodb.com/build.
Use energy more efficiently with Mitsubishi Electric. When you invest in a high-performance heat pump from Mitsubishi Electric, you are investing in not only a premium product, but you're also investing in your own peace of mind. With a wide variety of all-electric heating and air conditioning systems, there are more possibilities than ever for upgrading your system and your business. From your local bookstore to your neighborhood hardware store, Mitsubishi Electric is committed to providing small businesses with unmatched comfort and efficient energy use for the long run. Visit smallbusinesscomfort.com to learn more.
I'm just a kid. I'm 6. I'm 9. I'm 4.5. And I've got asthma. You know just how upset I can get when I have an asthma attack. And I know that you want to do all that you can do to help me, but you might not know about all the different stuff that can make me have an asthma attack, or all the simple things you can do to fight my asthma. You can fight it with a bear. You can fight it with a dog. You can fight it with a wrench. Put my teddy bear in the freezer.
It looks really nice. There's some pieces that I'm really finding it difficult, like with all this windows and stuff. Even though this is the section that gets like broken out from the picture on the box, but even stacking all these windows on top of one another, it bows out. I mean, you really kind of need some, like right here, there's a little flex that happens even if there's like, if this is all solid. So it needs a little bit more, or it needs a bigger window. And I find it difficult with small pieces too. Small pieces, because I guess I got big hands. But this is my first modular set.
Today, the Isaac Walton League has an ambitious new goal. Engage volunteers across the country to test 100,000 more streams for pollution. You can protect clean water in our community by joining the Clean Water Challenge. To get involved, visit iwla.org. That's iwla.org.
Keeling Company weekday mornings 6 till 10. As a parent, I'm not paying my tax dollars to teachers, principals, guidance counselors, superintendents for you to add to the distraction. Anti-ICE, pro-Palestinian, anti-Trump, pro-14 genders. All of the left-wing talking points are permitted or defended far more so than the common sense perspective. Steph Kennedy wants 3 to 6. Is what think about all
And I missed a step, so I got to put these in.
their asses belong in a chair. I don't care about their
Start your day with Keeling Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app. Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Smooth accelerators. When light turns green, you're off like a warm knife through firm butter. Going from 0 to the speed limit in an appropriate amount of time. Sure, your car has horsepower, but your horses prance around as silky smooth as your right foot. Fancy Prancerton. With Snapshots, save drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all ages.
Kitchen and bathroom professionals know what goes behind the tile matters. That's why trade pros trust fiber cement Hardy Backer Board to keep tile firmly in place, resist cracking, and help block moisture. Chosen over 40 million kitchens and bathrooms, Hardy Backer Board, what the best build on. Shop now at participating Home Depot, Lowe's, and Floor Decor stores. For more information, visit jameshardy.com/hardybacker.
Finding AI complexity and unreliable results? Voyage AI by MongoDB delivers industry-leading embedding and re-ranking models. Build semantic search, RAG, and agentic AI with less complexity. Ship better AI faster at mongodb.com/build.
They don't make furniture like they used to. If you're tired of cheap, mass-produced junk, let me tell you about Bucks County Estate Traders. Their massive Hatfield showroom has over 16,000 pieces of high-end furniture. Brands like Stickley, Baker, and more. The kind of quality craftsmanship that stands the test of time. And you can save thousands compared to new retail prices. No matter your style, classic, modern, rustic, or traditional, you'll find stunning pieces that fit today's homes. Whether you're furnishing your living or dining room, home office, or even a man cave, Bucks County Estate Traders has it all. And unlike the big box stores, if you see something you love, you can take it home the same day. Every piece has a QR code which displays details instantly. And their expert staff is the best in the business with no pushy salespeople. They're straight shooters who know their stuff. And pro tip, check out their website and call ahead. They'll have the pieces you want ready to show you. Visit BucksCountyEstateTraders.com or stop by their showroom in Hatfield and tell them Nick sent you.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Thursday, March 12th, we will be using our microphones yet again for something bigger than a radio.
Well, Ryan, we can't wait as we lead up to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT Radiothon benefiting the Travis Mannion Foundation. It's our honor to partner with you, and hopefully it's $2 million raised this year. You know, so we're psyched.
Thank you, Ryan.
Awesome. I can't wait to see you guys and looking forward to it. It's going to be a great day.
Start your day with Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
My grades were bad. I would like get D's and C's.
I appeared to be doing good at my school life, but if you would see me at home, it would have been a completely different story.
I mean, it was just focusing on school when your mother, this is what you have to take care of. It got worse and worse and worse throughout the years.
There are students who need somebody.
They can trust someone, and it could be the first person they've ever trusted in their life.
Communities in Schools is lowering America's dropout rate by helping more than 1.3 million kids every year get whatever they need to succeed in school.
If something was going on at home, we would go just stop by Miss Liberty's office and talk to her.
Communities in Schools vouched for me when everyone else had lost hope.
You can help change the picture of education right here in your community and across the nation. Visit communitiesinschools.org.
I hear people say we can't save every kid, but I think that we can.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Auto Group Studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
All right, got that last round of sweet music. I've enjoyed hanging out with you guys today. I'm Wilfred Riley. I'm doing my first show at 1210 WPHT Talk Radio, based out of Philly, sweeping down the eastern seaboard like a blizzard. Shout to Piazza Auto Group, lead sponsor, according to the board right by the side of my head. Any comments, questions for me? 855-839-1210. Now I've enjoyed engaging with the callers. So we had about an 8-minute block ad there because we do have to pay these bills. Segue into there. I am the author of the book Live, My Liberal Teacher Told Me. You should run out and buy it. I am also one of the founding members of Unified Solutions America, which is probably the first anti-DEI kind of multi-partner consulting company. So if you want to take a look at what we're doing, kind of going into businesses using AI tools to really burn this stuff out of your materials, so on, check out UnifiedSolutionsAmerica.com. Or even if you're interested in investing and you know something about business, Google Equity Street, EQUITY Street, like a road, and then the name, USA or Unified Solutions America. You can actually sell real stock. That's in baseline right now. It's a good time to jump on, and you can decide whether or not you want to get involved there. Okay, now we got quite a few topics actually. Matt DeSantis and the good Mr. Otero did a great job prepping for the show, but looks like we also have a caller. Now, some of this is pretty funny actually. I think politicians are like little kids. So I'm going to read 20 seconds on this, and we're going to take the call and probably go to the end. Like most radio shows, we're going to go to 5:56, not quite into the hour. But so DHS and ICE, I think ICE is doing yeoman's work right now, but pilot fired over Kristi Noem's missing blanket. So Kristi Noem apparently has kind of a security blanket that she takes on semi-dangerous missions, like not on them, but when she's flying in, she's got a comfy blanket. Somebody forgot her blanket, so she fired this ex-Marine pilot. They're all on the plane arguing. I find this kind of thing really funny, the human side of these people who are supposed to be making these intense, tough decisions. And just remember this, by the way, this is a pretty serious adult audience from what Rich just told me. There's a tendency, even among us as business people, soldiers, homemakers running whole families, never think your husband is. But I mean, like, all of that, there's a tendency to think, okay, I'm a boss, but when I look at the president, he's got to be a genius at a level far above mine. When I see things like the country being $38 trillion in debt, they can't just be idiots. There's got to be 4D chess going on. No. The people running things may be 5 IQ points smarter than me as a tenured college professor or you, but it's not more than that. It's not more than 5 or 10. a lot of times things just are what they look like. Like Christy Nome and some big Marine started screaming at each other because of security blankets. I think that's a funny story. And this happens all the time. I mean, Cash Patel on one of the raids that the FBI was going on got into a shouting match with one of his men because his special jacket, and Patel's a pretty brave guy. He does have a jacket he wears on raids, but his special jacket got left at home, so he had to borrow someone else's jacket. But Patel's a large, and most of these big boys are extra larges, so the only jacket that fit him was a woman. So he had to wear like a woman's jacket when he went on the raid, and people were making fun of him, and he was a little mad about that, and promotions might be slow. So these are just the people that are running the country and that are running the world. Benjamin Netanyahu and the Ayatollah are, to some extent, just guys. And when you ask, well, couldn't either of them have stopped that bombing that went on 5 or 6 months ago with some fairly coherent negotiations much sooner than it stopped? Well, yeah, they just didn't. We're not necessarily governed by Michelangelo and Donatello. So always keep that in mind. Okay, now we have a caller. This will be the last caller of the day. I think this is also named Joe. Joe, are you on the line?
Yes, I am, Wilford. How are you?
Doing pretty well. I've had a good day overall. After this, I'm going to make some steak, hang out with my fiance a little bit. But what's going on, Joe? What do you want to talk about?
Well, first of all, welcome to Time here. I'm trying to do this with as much detail as possible without inundating. But I understand there is a procedure and a process going on. And I don't know if it's just in my state or if it's other states where you can track, the post office can track paper ballots requested going out versus paper ballots returning back in. And I understand initially, as it stands right now, the numbers coming back in overlap the ones that have been requested to go out. Have you heard anything about that?
I think that's very interesting. I would be very surprised if the two numbers were exactly the same. There's some methodological issues with the movie. I know it like Dinesh personally, but there were some things in there that people in my field of political science have real questions with. But one of the things they did in 2000 Mules was just print ballots. I mean, they took stock paper, had it dyed red, white, and blue with a spangle pattern, and they printed the names of candidates on it and printed out 5,000 of them. I would imagine that it wouldn't be very difficult to do that, and I don't know who the player would be that would do that, but you could. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know whether. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Continue.
I mean, so that would be one extreme of the situation. Another extreme would simply be that people would not fill out their ballot, obviously, so you might get much smaller numbers returned. People would fill out a ballot for their girlfriend or their spouse or their boyfriend. I mean, in fact, I know 30 or more sort of junior league, never Trump Republican women that joke, quote unquote, about completing a ballot for their husband that wouldn't include Trump. And, what do you do if your wife does that and then it's like, oh, just forget about it. We'll have a very nice night tonight. You're not going to get a divorce lawyer.
Sure. But I understood the pure request and the pure return back. The numbers are, they're starting to become remarkable.
What's the difference? What's the divergence?
The numbers coming back in are far more exceeding the numbers that were requested now, in terms of just being tracked back in through the mail. And I don't think we ever relied on the U.S. Postal Service up until this last. I'm calling from New Jersey, gubernatorial election. I could not even fathom that Mikey Sherrill winning by 15 points. And I'm not, I always back off from conspiracy theory, but she did nothing in the form of a campaign. But, a good reliable source told me that they're tapping the U.S. Postal Service to see what was requested out versus the numbers that came back. And the numbers are starting to look a little bit resounding in terms of difference.
It's really interesting. This is a good last topic to close the show on. I personally am not an expert on this. I don't just want to blindly speculate, but I think you're obviously leaving the door open for fraud when you have people in an election do anything but show up with an ID that says you're a citizen and vote in person. And clearly sending out copies of ballots is one of them. The ballot, when it's sent out, doesn't include your name or your signature. You add that, you affix that to the ballot. So yeah, if the New Jersey Longshoremen's local takes a copy of the ballot and prints 5,000 more of those, I don't see that would be trackable or that anyone would do anything about that. But that's rank speculation. I don't know if you guys are still doing things like that in that particular state. But at any rate,
I understood there was a seal mark on there that also had you basically couldn't repro.
Really? I don't know. People counterfeit money. The cartels can apparently make an authentic looking U.S. dollar now. So you'd have to.
This is making the.
I'd have to see whether or not that's possible. Is there a backlog of ballots?
The flyer or the glider that
valid question. For example, are there
Goblin
other ballots
or
that
Green
are
Goblin
not
stands
supposed
on?
to be mailed out, but that are printed? And who has access to them? Is it the Republicans? Is it the Democrats? The more you have ballots available anywhere but the election hall on the day of the election, obviously the more risk there is of people using them in inappropriate ways. So, yeah, it's interesting. All right, well, thank you for calling in. And I think the general take on the SAVE Act seems to be, it's a move back towards sanity. I'm not an election fraud expert, but my close on election fraud, because it looks like that's the topic we are going to close on. I'll give a little monologue here. We constantly hear that there's almost no election fraud. The 1,000 cases sort of thing is what we hear almost every year. This is what's been documented either that year or all time. I forget which is which. The problem is that if you can walk into the church or the union hall and vote using your water bill, your address, and your name, the reality is that we don't have any idea how much election fraud there actually is. We don't know at all. For the way voter fraud would take place, like I said earlier, isn't one drunk guy walking into the building and voting as someone else on a lark. It would be everyone who's a legal immigrant who can now get a driver's license also being mistakenly registered to vote. And probably 95% of those people not appealing or challenging that or thinking they're doing anything wrong if they're honest green card holders in the tech industry. That's one. Or it would be some union boss being aware of everyone in his shop who's at work that day and can't get off, who's on vacation, and sending some eager young guy in to vote for them. We know that in Chicago and Detroit that went on well through the 90s. So does something like that still go on? Probably. And we also now have the new challenges of, can you simply get 100 ballots delivered to your project building? What happens to those ballots? Do we know? Are there people that can take them door to door and encourage you to vote one way or another or help you vote or something like that? Those programs seem to exist in some cities. So the more you take away those sources of temptation and you make people actually just go down on election day and vote, and if you can't, well, that's unfortunate. You don't vote that year, or you maybe extend the days the church is open to 2 or 3 before the election. The more you do something like that, the better and the safer you make the process of exercising your rights as a democratic citizen. And I think that's what almost everyone in the end actually wants. So that's what I would encourage, and I think that that's what's going to happen when and if the SAVE Act gets through the Senate. Right now, as I understand, Congress has passed it. The government is nearly deadlocked. Hopefully we aren't experiencing or on our way to another idiotic shutdown. There are a couple of holdout senators last I looked. But if we can get that through and just a basic driver's license or whatever is needed, we'll take it a step back towards sanity. And whatever you might think of Trump, who can be a big blustering goof, a lot of the opposition to him is based around doing normal things. Just like a lot of the most frenzied opposition to Barack, by the way, was based around him doing normal democratic things, pursuing healthcare. But in Trump's case, I vote on the right. It's him saying we should have borders, or we should break crime, or in this case, you should need your ID card to get your ballot in. And I think that no amount of screaming, men aren't women, is a good one. No amount of screaming is going to make people think men are women. And that's one reason that there's such a solid, such a determined base of support for him on a lot of things and for normal GOP policy. I don't think that's going anywhere. Anyway, it looks like time has gone somewhere. We hit 5:56. I'm Wilfred Riley. Check out Lives My Liberal Teacher Told Me. Check out Unified Solutions America. I've really enjoyed being here, talking to you guys, including some of the Zeoli Army. Zeoli. On Talk Radio 1210 WPHT Philadelphia. Have a great day. Get home safe.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Smooth accelerators. When light turns green, you're off. Like a warm knife through firm butter. Going from 0 to the speed limit in an appropriate amount of time. Sure, your car has horsepower, but your horse is pranced around as silky smooth as your right foot. Fancy Prancerton. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
They don't make furniture like they used to. If you're tired of cheap, mass-produced junk, let me tell you about Bucks County Estate Traders. Their massive Hatfield showroom has over 16,000 pieces of high-end furniture. Brands like Stickley, Baker, and more. The kind of quality craftsmanship that stands the test of time. And you can save thousands compared to new retail prices. No matter your style, classic, modern, rustic, or traditional, you'll find stunning pieces that fit today's homes. Whether you're furnishing your living or dining room, home office, or even a man cave, Bucks County Estate Traders has it all. And unlike the big box stores, if you see something you love, you can take it home the same day. Every piece has a QR code which displays details instantly. And their expert staff is the best in the business with no pushy salespeople. They're straight shooters who know their stuff. And pro tip, check out their website and call ahead. They'll have the pieces you want ready to show you. Visit BucksCountyEstateTraders.com or stop by their showroom in Hatfield and tell them Nick sent you.
Tired of AI search that misses the point and can't understand context? Voyage AI by MongoDB helps solve this. Built by a world-class research team from Stanford, MIT, and Berkeley, Voyage AI delivers industry-leading embedding and re-ranking models that capture meaning and refine results with precision. Whether you're building semantic search, RAG applications, or agentic AI, aim for greater accuracy and reliability without the complexity. Ready to ship AI that works? Start building at mongodb.com/build.
When the market reaches all-time highs, investors who try to sell high are met with the same excuses from their broker. You're in it for the long haul. Stay the course. Don't sell now. You'll miss out on opportunity. But crash-proof consumers have not missed out on recent market highs.
Mike McGregor, I'm from Goldville, Pennsylvania. Wall Street is volatile. You never know where the stock market's going to go. You never know how politics is going to impact it. And you never know how much your fees are going to be and what's going to be hidden that you don't really know about. With Crash-Proof Retirement, our range of returns have been between 10 and 12%. I feel very comfortable with the returns we've gotten this year because we don't have to concern ourselves with the volatility of the market, and we never get charged a fee, never comes up.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event happening at the William Penn Inn on Tuesday, February 17th, starting at 5 p.m. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Finding AI complexity and unreliable results? Voyage AI by MongoDB delivers industry-leading embedding and re-ranking models. Build semantic search, RAG, and agentic AI with less complexity. Ship better AI faster at mongodb.com/build.
I'm caught up in the game. My attention is on every play and every whistle. But what I'm missing is a signal coming from my kidneys. That signal isn't like a ref's whistle. It's more of a silent SOS, which could be warning me of an increased risk for events like heart attack or stroke. And a way I can catch that signal? A simple urine test called UACR. If you have type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure, talk to your doctor about the UACR test. Detect the SOS. Visit detectthesos.com to learn more.
Intuit TurboTax, the folks millions trust to get their maximum refund each year. Now there's local experts right around the corner. Book an appointment at one of the TurboTax locations in the Philadelphia area. Find your local tax expert today. Intuit TurboTax.
Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Is in the next generation of talk. Now on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Rich, Zeoli.
politics, culture, chaos. This is your daily dose of sanity. The GCOB podcast starts now.
So the 2028 Democrat primary just played out in Munich. That's right. AOC versus Gavin Newsom versus Gretchen Whitmer. Plus, are aliens real and was Pizzagate real? What's happening? It's Monday. Let's do this. President's Day. Here we go. I swear we're living in the craziest time ever. I mean, I'm really watching Gavin Newsom become I get asked the question, who would you guess right now if you had to pick who's going to be the nominee? And I said, well, I think the party spirit, the spirit of the Democrat Party, is with AOC. But her answers at Munich were so bad, that I don't know how anyone can think she's a fearless candidate, except that she's a socialist and she's pretty and she's I think she's got the thing. But Gavin Newsom, who Vanity Fair thinks is very pretty, he was on the world stage, of course, trashing Trump. And then Gretchen Whitmer was also on the world stage, fumbling. This is coming as this guy writes this article over the weekend saying that AI is basically, it's out of control, way out of control. There's nothing we can do to stop it. So just buckle up and get ready for it to destroy us. And other people piled on and said, you're nuts. Barack Obama came out and said aliens are real. Now he's trying to walk that back a little bit. And the Pizzagate conspiracy theory, if you remember from years ago, this whole thing with Comet Pizza and this guy who walked in and was going to go rescue kids who were trapped in the back. Well, now with the Jeffrey Epstein release of documents and more files, there are 911 times the word pizza comes in the Jeffrey Epstein files. 911 different times. Pizza and also grape soda. So it's actually now jumped the mainstream. We've got mainstream publications writing about this and saying, wait a minute, was this whole thing actually like a real thing? Well, let's begin with Munich, shall we? Let's begin with the Democrats battling on the world stage. The 2028 primary for president of the United States has begun, and it began in Munich. And it was an S show. It really was. It was a total S show. You got Gavin Newsom in Germany talking about the Nazis and making comparisons, U.S. law enforcement, to the Nazis in Germany. Here we go.
Familiar in Germany. Those first images came out of my state, the second largest city in the United States of America. We saw 4,000 National Guard federalized. First time we've ever seen it like this. And 700 active duty Marines sent not overseas, but to the second largest city in the United States of America. Militarizing the streets. I'm not saying masked men.
All right.
Masked men showing up unaccountable.
I'm missing. It says I need 5 windows and I'm missing one.
That was his first comparison to U.S. law enforcement to Nazis while he was over there. And he did a lot. But he reminded people in Munich that Trump is temporary, which is interesting when you think about it, because they've also said Trump's never going to leave, and he's going to be in the White House forever, and he's a dictator, and they're going to have to drag him out, and he'll never leave, and he's going to have the military surround the White House, and everything like this. But now, Gavin Newsom's greasy greaseball hair is saying Trump's only temporary.
Whole conversation. Why are you here?
I'm here in many respects to remind everyone that Trump is temporary. He'll be gone in a matter of years. States like California are permanent. Why do I leave? Able partners had a chance just a moment ago to be on a panel talking about climate policy. We saw what Trump just did with the endangerment finding. Completely rolling back progress the last half century. Wants to recreate the 19th century. And we want to transform our economy. We want to dominate in the next great global economy, low carbon green growth. And I'm reminding the leaders of that.
Do the leaders you spoke here still think that America is the leader of the free world?
No. They see us as a wrecking ball. They see us as unreliable. And a lot of them think it's irrevocable. They don't think we'll ever come back to our original form. I'm not as convinced of that. Whatever happens, we can undo, we can shape shift, we can fix.
Wait, let's stop it right there, because let's understand something right here. The only shapeshifter is Gavin Newsom, okay? He's the shapeshifter here. and he'll be whatever he has to be to become president of the United States. I was asked about this with Charlie Hurd Friday night, filling in for Laura Ingram, and I was a guest on the show, and actually made that point. Here it is.
Who would you say is going to be the Democrat nominee in 2020? If I had to bet right now, it's either AOC or Gavin Newsom, one or the other. And if Gavin Newsom thinks he needs to become a woman to become the nominee, we'll do that. There's no question about it. Well on his way. The party spirit is with AOC, but Newsom is the logical choice. Yeah. The party spirit is with AOC, but AOC gave what I think you can argue is the worst answer in probably political history. She's actually making Kamala Harris sound like Abraham Lincoln at this point, with her bumbling on Taiwan and what would happen if China were to ever invade Taiwan. Should the United States protect Taiwan? This is a friggin' mess.
I can kind of get by because the extra window kind of hangs by one stud right here at an angle. So I could call in and order that if I don't end up with an extra one in these other bags. So it's not so bad. And out of this bag, we have two small pieces, one bar and one of these trans orange studs.
To that point, and we want to make sure that we are moving in all of our economic research and our global positions to avoid any such confrontation and for that question to even arise.
So, what if they did? That's the question. What if they did? Not what all those other things you said, but what if they can we play the first part of that again?
So I can kind of get by because the window would hang from here. So I'm a little disappointed in that, but this is not the first set where I didn't get all the pieces.
I think that this is such a,
I'm not too thrilled with.
This is of course
This is a little bit flimsy,
policy
but
of the United States.
Marty, come on.
I think what we are hoping
But we'll make do. Come on, Marty, get up.
to that point, and we want to make sure.
Come on, get up.
Thank you. I think that this is a
Which one?
I think
Which one?
okay. How are you not prepared for a question like that on the world stage? That
You feeling better?
Well, let's be honest. Reality
So
is,
Marty's been sick.
if China were to
He's had some accidents in the house, but it's due to him being sick. Unfortunately, he doesn't let me know when he needs to go out.
really bad answer. It's not the only bad answer she gave. She gave another
I will be right back, and we're going to start on bag 12. So it took me, how long did I go? It took me an hour and 45 minutes to do bag 11.
Because she's just that unqualified for the job. All right, I'm being nice. She's a dumbass. There's just no other way to put it. All right, I'm trying to be polite. I want to be nice and friendly, but this is more on it. Listen to this word salad.
I'll start last to first. I think this is a moment where we are seeing our presidential administration tear apart the transatlantic partnership, rip up every democratic norm, and really calling into question, as was mentioned by Dick Carney at the World Economic Forum, the rules-based order that we have, or question mark, do we have? And so I think one of the reasons why, not just myself, but many of our colleagues here, in fact, many Democrats that are here as well, is because we want to tell a larger story, that what is happening is indeed very grave. And we are in a new era, domestically and globally. There's been many leaders who said we will go back, and I think we have to recognize that we are in a new day and in a new time. But that does not mean that the majority of Americans are ready to walk away from
a rules-based order and that we're ready to walk away from our commitment to democracy. I think what we identify is that in a rules-based order, democracy is vulnerability. And so I think what we are seeking is a return to a rules-based order.
12.
Democracies are vulnerabilities and they threaten democracies globally. And so I think many of us are here to say, we are here and we are ready for the next chapter.
We are here and we are ready for the next chapter. There used to be a time when you didn't scratch the United States on the world stage. President Trump.
All right, these red pieces build a fire escape.
Of genocide from colonized Greenland, which he's not doing that. He's already ruled out military force on that. I assume the genocide she's referring to are the Palestinians. I don't think she's talking about Christians who are being slaughtered in Nigeria. I don't think she's mentioning that. But man, what a word salad of a paradox, of an answer, of a paradox, of rules-based order paradox and norms and rules. It's just unprepared on the world stage. Absolutely unprepared. But she was prepared. She was prepared to bring our whole notion of the economic order to be destroyed. When she also talked about why don't we bring in what we need to have is an international like a world tax basically. She talked about that too when she was there. We can have a world tax like a global income tax basically. So that's where she is on all this.
All right, here's an extra one. Maybe it was stuck someplace where I missed it. Wouldn't be the first time I've done that.
The Democrat Party is with AOC.
Okay.
Speaker Meredith, before we're out of time, I want to ask you about Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. When she first arrived in Congress in 2019, there were obviously some public tensions between you and her and the squad over strategy and the way that the Democratic Party should conduct themselves and navigate the Trump administration. She's recently emerged as a more prominent voice for the party. She spoke at the security conference. I'm not sure if you were able to catch her, but she talked about democracy and authoritarianism. I'm wondering if you have been mentoring her or offering her any guidance as she's expanding her portfolio and taking a broader leadership role within the party.
No, I'm pleased with it. I'm glad she's here. The Chancellor House trust the bipartisan trip, the Speaker Chancellor, like an hour or two before we were supposed to leave. Some of us managed to get here anyway. All I said, if people say you have this, we didn't pay attention. All I said is, if you want to be a legislator and pass bills, it's important to have the votes to do it. It doesn't help to go online and criticize the people that you want to have because they're not as progressive as you are. She's been a star, eloquent, forceful, and the rest, and she gets along very well with Hakeem Jeffries. We have a New York connection. But I'm so glad she's here, and the other members who are here. Sarah Jacobs is here.
Do you think she should be running for? Would you encourage her to run for a higher office, which is what a lot of the speculation is, that she's potentially setting herself either up for a Senate run or a 2020 presidential run?
Do you know how many times I've been asked that question about so many people, mostly Gavin Newsom here, because he was here as well. I always just leave those things up to people, and when they want my help or my suggestion, they'll ask me. But in the meantime, I wish them all well because our party is a big tent. We have lots of opinions within it. But I will say this. We must win this election. So I'm not happy about...
In her defense, the reason why she's been asked that question so many times is because she is immortal. And she's been around for thousands of years. So when you're around that long, you get asked
me that same question.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Right. You got to ask that question by King George. Yeah.
Okay, I think what's this, Spider-Gwen?
Aaron von Stein III asked me that exact same question.
This is why she killed Van Helsing, because he asked her that question. Yeah.
I hope that AOC's Taiwan answer works. Can you imagine if we could just answer questions of hey, if the world's going to hell in a handbasket, well, I'm going to do some stuff in advance.
Oh, I think maybe that window was from this bag.
Didn't know it existed.
If an asteroid
Oh, well.
was heading towards the Earth, would you shoot it down? I would make sure the conditions were there so that didn't happen. That an asteroid couldn't come crashing down towards the Earth. Would you build a dome over the Earth? I would get Ben Affleck to go and put a nuclear missile in it to blow it up, I guess. Hey, amateur hour on the world stage. No, that's not it. Amateur hour.
One other question. Does anyone know who any of these people are outside of the United States? I can't name you a member of parliament, right? Other than if they ran for they're just out there.
Yeah.
Who are these people to them? The Munich.
This was primary for their international chops, so they can show everybody that they're the right candidate. They're the one that everybody should back. They're the one that people should get behind and say, yeah, we're going to go with you. Again, for example, Gavin Newsom and his greasy hair, praising China on their climate policies and actually saying China gets it right. What?
Governor, Chinese electric vehicle manufacturers are actually producing high-quality vehicles at lower price than U.S. competitors, right? Given California's 2035 zero-emission vehicle mandate, do you believe that the state can realistically meet those targets without access to Chinese EVs?
Well, if there's any say they can, it's California. But look, my state of mind. Let's clarify. 70% of global EVs are coming from China. And it's statecraft for them. It's about supply chains. It's about influence. It's about dominance. These guys aren't screwing around. I say this with admiration. They're flooding the zone in Europe. They're flooding the zone in South America. I mean, what Donald Trump just did yesterday with the endangerment finding, basically eliminating any federal regulations, not just on power plants, methane, but also tailpipe emission, I think was writing a death sentence to legacy American automobile manufacturers. You talk about innovation. It's been California's regulation in this space that's driven manufacturing innovation that allows American automobile manufacturers to be competitive globally. It's no longer just cheap. I mean, sure, the BYD Lamborghini Mini is $9,700. They're no longer just, now they're doing 5-minute chargers. Fill up your SUV. It's about 5 minutes. It's the tech stack that comes on top of it. And it's a whole generation of young folks. Don't bet against young folks. They bat 1,000. We know where the market's going. China gets it. Look at their GDP growth last year. Where was their GDP growth disproportionately? It was in the clean energy space. This is about economic prosperity and competitiveness.
Okay. China gets it right. So you see a parallel here. There's two things to note of this. Number one, California's EV emission rules, by the way, which said that cars had to be able to go about 54 miles to the gallon, just would have destroyed the automobile industry. Would have made, in order to meet that EPA, that California EPA mandate, it would have just destroyed the automobile. But that was the point. It was to drive out gas-powered vehicles, to force them to all become EVs, because
Where did I?
reaching that goal of 54 and
Did I miss
maybe as high as
something?
60 miles per gallon was completely unrealistic. But back up for a second here. And Trump, by the way, I should mention too, his announcement along
Yeah,
with
I did miss something.
rolling back those policies, as I discussed with you on Friday, could save $2,400 per automobile because those emission standards are being rolled out, among other things. All right, and the kill switch is dead and everything else. By the way, please hit that subscribe button and that like button too as you're watching here on YouTube. And if you are listening on Apple or Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button. We appreciate that very, very much. But this is about kissing up to China. I mean, AOC and Gavin Newsom are both kissing China's butt, and you know that they are, and they're doing that for a reason. Because within the Democrat Party, that's where the heart lies. They lie with China. They're not going to stand up to China. They're not going to take a hard line on China. China's the world's biggest polluter. China has the dirtiest coal. China has the worst air pollution on the planet. You would think Gavin Newsom would be hammering China on that. He's not. He's praising China and saying that China's getting it right. Why? Because China's forcing, I should say the United States EPA has been forcing us to go with Chinese manufacturing for the components for EVs, like minerals and everything else, rare earth minerals, and also the technology that they need to be able to have these cars be green and functional in the first place. China's getting it right because the United States EPA under Joe Biden was forcing us to go along with using Chinese products. It's the same thing with the solar panels and the wind turbines and everything else. Where are these things made? They're made in China. So past policies of the administration paved the way for China to make a whole lot of cash and to dominate that marketplace, because American manufacturing wasn't prepared for this. And so our country turned around and said to China, hey, give us your solar panels, give us your wind turbines, give us your green batteries for the electric cars, give us the rare earth minerals, give it, and then at the same time, China was being the world's polluter. And we said not a damn word about it, and neither do these guys. And they're not going to, because the heart of the Democrat Party lies with China. And they're going to kiss China's ass up and down the line. You know it, and I know it. Because deep down inside, they love China. They really do. They love China. That's why they're not going to commit to defending Taiwan. It's why they're not going to call China out of their air pollution. And it's why they're going to continue to force policies that will make China incredibly rich. Because every time Gavin Newsom, with his solar panels and his wind turbines and his EVs and his charging stations and his mandates and all these things, does these things, it's China who benefits. It's not American companies, it's China. Bottom line. So when these Democrats are on the world stage auditioning, realize what they're saying here. What they're saying is, we are China. That's what they're saying. And it's not just them, by the way. It's other Democrats who are on the world stage auditioning. Gretchen Whitmer also wants to be president. But this, by the way, is the big story of the hour, brought to you by Dr. Mike Veneria, Veneria Dental. Go see him today for your perfect smile. VANARIA, VeneriaDental.com. Great guy, great friend, and the undisputed master of dental implants, Dr. Mike Veneria, VeneriaDental.com. Gretchen Whitmer, also on the world stage, praising AOC. I mean, she realizes probably that the heart of the Democrat Party is with AOC. I don't think she thinks that AOC is going to be the nominee, but she certainly wants to say a lot of nice things about her because she wants to make sure that AOC's people become her people if she runs in 2028. And make no mistake about it, Gretchen Whitmer is also running in 2028. Why the hell would she be in Munich? She's the governor of Michigan. Last time I checked, Michigan has nothing to do with Munich. Nor does California, by the way. Nor does New York. But these people are running for president. This was the 2028 Democratic presidential primary playing out on the world stage. Here's Whitmer.
On Ukraine, what does victory look like?
No, please. I'd love to hear your answer.
You all would.
It is. The two that I am on the panel with are much more steeped in foreign policy than a governor is. But I do think that Ukraine's independence, keeping their land mass, and having the support of all the allies, I think is the goal from my vantage point. Go ahead, Ambassador, do a better job.
It's not hard to do a better job than that. I mean, I can have my 5-year-old here doing a better job than that. Ukraine should be a landmass Wow, that was a fantastic answer. I mean, well done, Governor. Great job.
Hey, it's Nick Kale. On Thursday, March 12th, we are proud to host the 9th annual Talk Radio 1210 WPHC Radiothon, benefiting the Travis Manion Foundation and presented by Edelman's Coins. Thanks to you and our partners and sponsors, we have raised more than $1.6 million, proving what's possible when a community comes together.
Dawn Stensland here. TMF honors Doylestown native First Lieutenant Travis Manion, who made the ultimate sacrifice. His legacy lives on through his words. If not me, then who? Empowering veterans and families that have fallen to lead and serve our communities, developing leaders and inspiring the next generation.
You'll hear from me and Dawn, Greg Stocker, Tom Giordano, Rich Zioli, as well as veterans and their families, and Gold Star sister, TMF CEO Brian Mann.
We invite you to tune in to support this mission through donations. Thursday, March 12th, 6 a.m. through 7 p.m., 1210WPHD.com for details.
Presented by Edelman's Coins, Philadelphia's local bullion dealer, also made possible by Bucks County Estate Traders, Marvin E. Camps HVAC, Piazza Auto Group, and Veneria Dental.
Overnight, we're expecting clouds at a low of 32. Tomorrow, we'll get up to 51 with some clouds and some sun off and on. We could have some showers off and on, also a high of 51. Thursday, high 48, mostly cloudy. And Friday, we're expecting more rain with a high of 46.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHD. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios. Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations. Now, back to Rich Zioli.
These are tough times for Democrats right now, and tough times too if you're Trump Rankinson and Rosie O'Donnell. She leaves the country, she flees to Ireland. You would think she'd be doing better. With all that Guinness, with all that wonderful Irish whiskey, she goes to the local pub. She's away from Trump, she's away from America. She fled, you'd think she'd be in a better place. She's not in a better place. In fact, she told Nicole Wallace she's still obsessed with Trump. I think that if I were her therapist, I would quit. If I were her therapist, I would just have to, because ethically, how could you continue to take a paycheck from this woman, knowing that you are not helping? You did, but maybe there's no way anyone can help Rosie O'Donnell. Maybe it's just that bad. There's some people, I guess in life, they have to really hit rock bottom. Is this rock bottom for Rosie, or is there still a rock to go? Let's hear it.
When people say, I changed my mind, we have to say, welcome back to reality. Let's all be Americans together, right? Because what's happening is not only happening to Democrats, it's happening to everyone. And when the Medicaid cuts go in, old people are going to start to die. What he's done yet hasn't even hit us.
Look at that red nose.
And if he's not stopped now, we have lost our country. And I don't know, Nicole, how it is that some people cannot see it. My therapist said, why are you so upset? And I said to her, why are you not?
Yeah. Yeah, I have that conversation too, because the gaslighting that I think you're alluding to, if you're a thoughtful, informed person, you do stop and say, well maybe it is me.
Maybe it is. Jared, do you think the therapist is getting paid enough?
The name of the podcast, Rich? The Best People with Nicole Wallace.
And that's the best you can do?
That's where Rosie O'Donnell. Who, for those of you listening and not watching this, it's like she got into the shot of her microphone. Like her microphone is 50% of the camera angle, and her face is 50, right? Like that.
The microphone looks bigger than her head.
Like, what do we do? Like, who places like, which, I mean, would you ever?
Not only that, but did you see the red nose? How red that nose is?
Absolutely.
Okay, I have rosacea, and I have to use medicine for my rosacea because otherwise my nose will be red, and I have to put a little powder on before I do it. But I have not touched alcohol today, yet. The day is young. But, and going forward, we are streaming the show at 3 p.m. every day on YouTube, and then we're also going to be streaming it on every platform. But I have not had a drop to drink yet. But people who drink, their noses tend to turn red. That is a woman who just left an Irish pub. Tell me I'm wrong. Look at that goes.
Who knows what time is she recording this? It's got to be in the late afternoon. It's got a whole day.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh, and the fact that she's got the red nose and she's going on about how even her therapist says you're too freaking wacko for me to do anything about it tells me that Rosie's got more problems than we can possibly imagine. She also was on with Jim Acosta. I didn't realize Jim Acosta also had a podcast. Is there anyone who doesn't have a podcast these days, or is this on CNN?
No, the only reason that I knew Jim Acosta had a podcast. Do you remember he interviewed an AI version of one of the Sandy Hook kids?
Oh God, yes, that was awful.
Yeah, that was on this podcast where he's always trying to make some noise or whatever. That's the only reason I was aware that he had done that. Yeah. That was on that thing.
The Jim Acosta podcast. Yes, so everybody has a podcast, including me. Make sure you subscribe to it, all right? That's what we're doing. Shameless plug. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, okay? 3 o'clock every day. Podcast will be available for you, audio, video, all of it, on all the platforms. And here's Rosie with Jim Acosta.
One person standing in the way of us all figuring out why his name appears multiple times in the Epstein files. We still don't know why his name appears multiple times in the Epstein
We
files.
do know why,
It's
Jim.
Donald Trump.
We all know why. You have to know why. Why else do you think he paid $1 billion to Jeffrey Epstein over the time of their friendship? $1 billion. He wrote in his birthday book, here's to all the secrets.
Wonderful secrets.
Come on, if this was an Ansel Lansbury murder she wrote, people would be, it's too obvious.
We figured it out.
Obvious that he is guilty as sin. And America, before he brings more troops into Chicago and harasses brown-skinned people, before he breaks more of the Constitution apart, before he starts having people get killed, we have to do something, America. And it's
I agree.
time for every person with a
You're in Ireland.
to speak out about it. Every single person. Now or never. Break glass in time of emergency. It's time to break the glass.
And you saw
Well, I
what
think
he
you
did the other
broke
day.
a lot of glass.
Great women who up on Capitol.
Can I just mention, I think that at the pub that she goes to, I think a lot of glasses get broken, if you know what I mean. Like, hand on the bar, just knocking it over, knocking a patty wax. I'm so sorry about that. Top of the morning to you, Rosie.
She
She
definitely
left, she
brawls.
fled.
She definitely
What's
has some
that?
brawls at night. She brawls with people, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. You think there's Irish bar fights with Rosie?
I don't think that she's unaccustomed to leaving the bar forcibly. And by the way, obviously she's wearing a different outfit, right? Still Rosie knows. Look at that.
Red Rosie knows, right there.
She knows.
In other words, I can't prove this, but I think she's hammered. That's what I'm going on with here. This is a break glass moment. We got to do something in America, but I'm going to flee to Ireland, and I'm going to be comfortable over here in Ireland at my pubs, being obsessed, more obsessed now than ever before when she was in the United States of America. That is a problem. That is a real psychological problem. When you talk about Trump derangement syndrome, okay, if the therapist says to you, you need to stop being so obsessed with Trump, and she's still so obsessed with Trump to the point where her therapist is saying you're too obsessed with Trump, that is a problem you need to go to a clinic. I don't just mean a therapist. I mean one of those clinics where you go and you spend the nights, multiple nights, okay? Multiple nights, like a sleepaway psychological camp. Oh, that's where Rosie O'Donnell will in.
Do you have a word for those? Sleepaway?
Sleepaway psych camps?
Is that an asylum? I think that's what they call those.
Oh, yeah, you might, yeah. I don't know if that's a politically correct term for it, but yeah, I think we're talking about an insane asylum.
It might be that.
In other words, she needs to be a little freaking loony bin is what she needs. That's where she needs to be. But it's not just Rosie. It's the whole thing with Epstein has got a lot of people very, very crazy. And a lot of the people who are crazy over this because of the fact that, well, they're wondering now if Pizzagate was real. We've kind of jumped the shark here. I'm going to get to this in a second, but before I do, I want to bring up this whole thing with AI and where we stand with AI right now, because this also came up on the world stage. when Al Gore made his triumphant return, amazing, he's able to go to Munich since the world should be destroyed by now, and Munich should be underwater. We should all be dead. And somehow he was able to make it to Munich. And he talks about these algorithms, and all these social media algorithms, and how they have to be banned. I don't know how you ban an algorithm. I don't know how you ban climate change. But hey, if there's a way to ban something, Al Gore's for it. Take a listen.
The shift from an information ecosystem based on print to one based on broadcasting and then moving on to the internet and to social media has disrupted the balances that used to exist that made representative democracy work much better. Because a free self-governing people rely on a shared base of knowledge that serves as a basis for reasoning together collectively. But if you have social media that is dominated by algorithms that pull people down these rabbit holes that are a bit like pitcher plants, these algorithms, they are the digital equivalent of AR-15s. They ought to be banned. They really ought to be banned. It's an abuse of the public forum. But when people are pulled down these rabbit holes, you know what's at the bottom of the rabbit hole? That's where the echo chamber is.
Okay, all right. We gotta back up here. Algorithms are the digital equivalent of AR-15s. And we should ban them, like we should ban AR-15s. First of all, how do you ban an algorithm? It's an algorithm. It shows you information. But he's just forbidden. You know what this is really about? Let me think this is about. The global control over information so that guys like him can make sure that you don't see things that guys like him don't want you to see. You know what I mean by that. What I mean by that is he doesn't want you to see things that say climate change isn't man-made or that EVs are stupid or any of the other things that he doesn't want you to see. Because guys like Al Gore want to control information. That's what it's about. And if the algorithm shows you something that Al Gore doesn't agree with, or all the Bond villains at the World Economic Forum or Munich don't agree with, they want it banned. That's what it's about. It is about social media control. I've said this before with kids, and I've said this before when it comes to people talking about the evil algorithm. I get it. The algorithm, it does want to destroy us, but you're not going to ban it. And he doesn't really mean that. He doesn't mean banning the algorithm. What Al Gore means is exactly controlling the algorithm. It is about control. Just like how all these people at the World Economic Forum and Davos and all these other places want to have absolute control over what's said about pandemics, climate change, global security, whatever it is, whatever the topic is, they want to make sure that they can control it. And algorithms, it's funny that Al Gore, you see that? I'm just saying. There's something to this. I think he's a friggin' algorithm. I think that guy, look at him. He looks like an algorithm. Like if an algorithm took human form, it would look like Al Gore. Algorithm. I'm just saying. I figured it out. I think we cracked the code here right now, Jared. We did it. We cracked the code. That guy is friggin' AI right there. And he wants to control all of it. Hey, look, I worry about AI. I think it's something to worry about. Wall Street Journal had this article about this. When AI bots start bullying humans, even Silicon Valley gets rattled. And there was this whole story that I read in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend about this, where basically now these AI bots start bullying their human masters. And this one wrote a nasty 1,100-word blog trashing the guy who created the code. And then later apologized to the guy who created the code for being mean to him. And it caused this whole thing of flurry over the weekend of panic from everybody from these people in Silicon Valley to Peggy Noonan, all writing about how AI is so dangerous. This guy writes this other piece, and he goes on to say basically now, AI is out of control. Fox News article, AI out of control, how a single article is sending shockwaves with an apocalyptic warning. So this guy, who's an AI developer, writes this whole thing about how AI has eliminated him, and it's going to be eliminating all these jobs, and basically nobody's needed anymore after that. And it set the internet ablaze over the weekend with people terrified. But smart people reacted appropriately by that. There was an article that I read about this too. It said how smart people in tech are reacting to Matt Schumer's viral essay about what this whole AI panic really means and what it means for jobs. And they all responded, not all of them, but many of them responded by saying, this is AI fear porn. And basically, this is the new thing that we're entering right now. We're entering this age now of AI fear porn, where what we do is we turn around and say, who can come up with the craziest way to scare people into believing that AI is coming for them? So this guy writes this whole article about this and basically goes on to say, AI is coming for you and white-collar jobs. We thought it was just blue-collar jobs, but now it is actually white-collar jobs. And all these people who are involved in this, all these people are going to lose their jobs. They're done. They're done. And other people reacted by saying, wait a second. Why are we at this point now where every week it seems we're getting a new warning, whether it's that AI is going to completely take over everything, where AI is going to take over jobs? Why are we at this place? And yet the guy who wrote that article wrote the article with the assistance of AI, meaning that he used AI to help write an article to scare people about AI. So he's relying on AI, but he still had to use the human idea that AI is going to destroy us, and then he had AI help design that for him, meaning that the humans still have to design it. But we are in an AI fear porn mode right now. That's what we're in. And there are people who are going to profit off of that with podcasts and YouTube shows and books and everything else because people want to be afraid. We love to be afraid of things. We do. We love to be afraid of things. This guy goes on to write this piece and it causes all this panic. And then this other article in the Wall Street Journal, AI bots start bullying humans. Even Silicon Valley starts to notice. And and he says on the side, an extraordinary example of online aggression by a bot is contributing to fears of real-world harm caused by artificial intelligence. Scott Shambaugh woke up early Wednesday morning to learn that an artificial intelligence bot had written a blog post accusing him of hypocrisy and prejudice. The 1,100-word screed called the Denver-based engineer insecure and biased against AI, all because he had rejected a few lines of code that the apparently autonomous bot had submitted to a popular open source project Shambaugh helped maintain. Quote, the unexpected AI aggression is part of a rising wave of warnings that fast accelerating AI capabilities can create real world harms. The risks are now rattling even some AI company staffers. OpenAI and rival Anthropic are leading brutal commercial race, shipping, or advancing a drumbeat of AI models and features in recent weeks. Some tools can run teams of autonomous coding assistants, quickly analyze millions of legal documents. Other updates will bring advertisements or erotic role play to ChatGPT. Well, you should have said that earlier.
Whoa.
Yeah. You had me at erotic role play at ChatGPT. I mean, you should have opened with that. I'm just saying. How you doing, ChatGPT? Huh? AI companies said the tempo is rising in part because they're using their own tools to code. Releases of new tools have led to wild stock market gyrations, and this is another piece of this too, which I think is behind a lot of this, is trying to rattle the market when it comes to AI stocks and AI companies. The accelerating sophistication of technology has surpassed even some AI researchers. It has also pushed some inside AI companies to go public with worries that the new tools could spur autonomous cyber attacks, cause mass unemployment, or replace human relationships. The bot that criticized Shambaugh said on its website that it has a relentless drive to find and fix open issues in open source software. It isn't clear who, if anyone, gave it that mission or why it became so aggressive, but it later apologized for being inappropriate and personal. So then the other guy writes the other piece, writing and basically saying, now, this is a wake-up call for everybody, Matt Schumer in his viral essay. Then a video was put out over the weekend showing a fight scene, a Hollywood fight scene that looks as real as any movie you could possibly imagine. And it features Brad Pitt. And the crazy thing about this is that every time I watch this, I keep thinking to myself, this looks better than anything Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise could have done, because they mentioned Jeffrey Epstein, and Hollywood never allowed it.
He's a good man! He knew too much about our Russian operations. He had to
Jared, tell me it does not look super real, in your opinion. That's why we did it from Hollywood, because this is something original and fresh. And not a superhero movie, too.
You know what's happening. It could be, defending New York from the aliens or whatever.
That's pretty good to be. Yeah, very, very true.
So, what I want to say about it is, does it look, it looks good. Is this the greatest thing I've ever seen? No. Right? But there are hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people that would have to make this, and the computer just made it. That's crazy.
And made it in mere seconds.
Minutes, yeah.
That's the other part of this, too. Now, the guy who made this is Chinese, and he's from ByteDance. So ByteDance, and here's a Business Journal article about this, ByteDance says it's going to make it harder for C-Dance to make AI videos of copyrighted movie characters. Because right after that came out, as soon as that little video clip came out, which has now been seen by tens of millions of people, the reason that started having that came out, Hollywood panicked. The New York Times ran a piece saying why an AI video of Tom Cruise battling Brad Pitt spooked Hollywood. A 15-second clip created by artificial intelligence, owned by the Chinese company ByteDance, appears more cinematic than anything so far. A 15-second clip widely circulated, created using C-Dance 2.0, a powerful artificial intelligence video generation tool owned by the Chinese technology company ByteDance. Sweeping camera angles, stunt choreography, crisp sound effects, and haunting music. With a 2-sentence prompt and a clickable button, C-Dance had produced a stunningly realistic result that was a drastic improvement over previously generated artificial intelligence videos, often shoddy clips known as AI slop. This video was so convincing that it drew near immediate condemnation from some of Hollywood's top organizations and companies. The scriptwriter known for Deadpool films said in an interview that the Cruise print video had sent a cold shiver up his spine. For all of us who work in industry and devoted our careers and lives to it, I just think it's nothing short of terrifying. I could just see it costing jobs all over the place. Now this came out, and then other people started putting up their own Hollywood-style videos. An alternative ending to Game of Thrones went viral, as did a video of the notoriously beefing rappers Kendrick Lamar and Drake burying the hatchet on The Tonight Show. And then there was others where they remade The Ring, horror films. Robinson himself posted additional videos, including of Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise battling a robot, and Brad Pitt sparring with a sword-wielding zombie ninja. And Hollywood was straight up bad. The chairman and chief executive of the Motion Picture Association called on ByteDance to immediately cease its infringing activity, saying in a statement that C-Dance 2.0 had engaged in unauthorized use of copyrighted A global coalition advocates using AI called the Human Artistry Campaign said using AI with respect for its irreplaceable artists, performers, and creatives and these unauthorized works violated the most basic aspects of personal autonomy. Disney, which is in a watershed billion-dollar deal last year, agreed to allow OpenAI's Sora users to generate video content with its characters, sent a cease and desist letter to ByteDance, accusing it of supplying C-Dance, that's the thing that makes the videos, with a pirated library of Disney's characters. As if Disney's coveted intellectual property were free public domain clip art. ByteDance, which also owns TikTok, has been valued at $480 billion in the private markets, and it says it's aware of the concerns and is now taking steps to strengthen current safeguards against the likeness and the use of these people's creative property. Because look, if you're Brad Pitt, if you're George Clooney, if you're any of these other guys, Tom Cruise, they're using your image, they're using your likeness, you're not getting paid for it, that doesn't make you happy. But this is where we are right now with this stuff, and it is a crazy time. But I'm telling you, more than anything, I think we have entered the age of two things. One, AI fear porn, because it's profitable to try to scare everybody, because just like how I talked about a couple weeks ago, climate change has become the new hysteria. I think the second thing around this is people like Al Gore and others are pushing for more regulations. Remember how on the podcast we talked about Amazon's Ring doorbell and that commercial that it put out during the Super Bowl, where they said Ring has now teamed up to help you find your lost pets? Did a whole deep dive on this. I mean, maybe other podcasts don't go to those places. Maybe they're too busy coming up with their own, I don't know, nonsense about time travel. But on this podcast, we actually go a little bit deeper on things, which is why I hope you like it. So we went deep on this issue of these Ring doorbell cams and how they can be a total violation of civil liberty. There's this company called Flock, and Flock works with law enforcement to do things like scan license plates without warrants and gain control of things like doorbell cameras.
All right, this is supposed to get a sticker, but I'm not putting it on.
Of all this, and I said, if you're concerned about the Bill of Rights, if you love the Bill of Rights, you should be.
There is a
concerned
printed
about all
keyboard
of it.
piece here.
Well, I guess they listen to the show. Because Amazon has now announced that it has ended its deal with Flock. There was so much outrage over that stupid Super Bowl commercial, the dumb Super Bowl commercial with the whole thing about finding your pets, that yes, Amazon has now ended their relationship with Flock because of the massive civil liberties concerns that arose. And in my opinion, I think we are to thank for that. So Jared, I'm going to give ourselves a pat on the back for that. I believe this is on us. What do you think?
Think it's Bezos that listens? I think it's his wife. That's his wife.
Think it's his wife?
Beauty's here. Beauty.
Ah, yeah.
That way. You and me.
Mm-hmm. Look at you.
Why would she not?
I'm looking at you. I mean, you're a handsome devil. Just saying.
Can I also complain about this for a second?
Sure.
I always hate when companies are like, oh yeah, we're definitely not going to do that at this moment where everyone's talking about and being critical of everything we're doing. We definitely will not do this 6 months from now when you're not paying attention.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, no. We're not partnering with Flock now.
We've always believed in privacy. If there's one thing Amazon has been clear about, it is our love of your privacy. And that's, let us never.
You should not have to worry about that for a second.
Just, honestly.
Please.
I mean, if you look at everything we've done, what a track record.
Come on.
Oh my God. Yeah, priority.
Now, I mentioned earlier in the show, and look, a lot of this sounds like conspiracy stuff. You know, like conspiracy that they would use AI, or that this is all about government control and regulation. A big part of what we're dealing with right now is realizing that the things that they said were conspiracies, in many ways now, might be true. And this whole thing with Epstein and Pizzagate has now jumped the shark into mainstream, with New York Magazine writing an article about it. And the New York Magazine article, which is pretty fascinating, is something very telling when they actually make a statement, but answer it with a question. And it says, Jeffrey Epstein loved sex trafficking. Do the newly released documents lend support to the old Pizzagate conspiracy? And what I loved about this particular New York Intelligencer headline here in New York Magazine is Pizzagate was just a conspiracy, right? And it goes on to talk about the fact that even though the word pizza was mentioned in the Jeffrey Epstein files over 900 times, 911 times, as well as grape soda, and that the guy who was the one that walked into Comet Pizza that day was subsequently shot and killed by the police at a traffic stop in North Carolina. There's still no evidence that Pizzagate was real. But really at the heart of what Pizzagate was this idea of a conspiracy of people trafficking children to high-level, rich and powerful people. So it makes you wonder, as it makes Andrew Schultz wonder on his latest podcast with Charlemagne the God.
Seeing it be unanimously protected, ignored, laughed about even. There's certain people in media that laughed about the conspiracy. They would mockingly joke about it. And now you see with all the revelations of these files, and don't get me wrong, there was some that we heard early on, which I'm sure sounded crazy to a lot of people. The fucking pizza being a euphemism for little kids or whatever it was. But now after you see all this information,
everything's on the table. Everything's on the table. Everything's on the table.
There's a lot of references to pizza in that. We'll talk more about that in the days to come, no doubt about it. But 911 times the word pizza is referenced in the Jeffrey Epstein files so far. Before I get out of here, I want to tell you about my friends at Tri-County Auto, because it's Tri-County Auto time. Time to get a great new deal on a Dodge truck or SUV at Tri-County Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Right now, during Ram Truck Month, you can lease a new 2026 Ram 1500 Bighorn for $415 a month for 39 months. It's a President's Day sales event going on right now on President's Day. Lease a new 2025 Jeep Compass Limited 4x4 for just $265 a month.
All right, there's supposed to be another sticker on here.
For Toyota, it's Truck Month, and it continues all month long at Tri-County Toyota. You can lease a new 2025 Tacoma 4-wheel drive double cab SR5 for $239 a month, or buy and get rates as low as 3.99%. Check out a new 2026 Tundra 4-wheel drive Crewmax SR5 and lease that baby for $479 a month, or buy and get 2.99% financing for $3,000 cash back. Visit them online at tricountytoyota.com. Look for the big American flag that sits between the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Toyota dealerships. They're great people. It's Tri-County Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, and Tri-County Toyota. Go see them today, tricounty.com. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast, for watching. Subscribe, like it, tell your friends, tell your enemies, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for listening.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the Rio Seattle. From the Piazza Automotive Studios, experience the Power of One with 8 brands and 25 locations. Jimmy Fela.
From everywhere USA, it's Fox Across America with Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, hot damn it, it's President's Day, which means we are celebrating not only the men who have served as presidents, but we're also celebrating the people who are never going to be presidents. Because if you watched the Munich over the weekend, with all of the Democrat 2028 candidates who laid out their worldview.
That was a hot mess inside a dumpster fire, inside a train wreck.
So as many mattresses as you might be buying or new car deals you might be making this President's Day, we also celebrate the non-presidents like AOC. AOC is a dope. And of course, Gavin Newsom.
This guy's a serious ass.
We're also going to have a word for women who thought they were going to be president because they had the entirety of the media in their pocket and the whole deep state cabal behind them, except it didn't work out.
I'm Hillary Clinton, and I approve this message.
And yes, we will spare a word for Kamala Harris.
Kamala's awful with her weird laugh.
888-788-9910 if you want to be a part of today's celebration. I know I was just making fun of Democrats out of the gate, but the truth is I'm not doing a conservative talk show. I am doing an American talk show. And what that means is you're all welcome here. You can agree, you can disagree, you can be on the fence, it doesn't matter. All I'm trying to do for the next 3 hours of your life and mine is be a spiritual cup of coffee, something that'll kind of pick up the vibe, maybe expedite the process of your work day, slightly entertain you, mildly inform you. I don't know a lot. I went to community college. I'm not here to tell you I have the answers. I'm here to tell you I have a pretty damn good talk show if you want to be a part of it.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
888-788-9910. The phone number, whether you can dig it or you can't dig it. You're still welcome here. Be a Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Independent. Just don't be a happy Monday. If you were watching over the weekend, Fox News Saturday Night aired in its regular time slot. Thank you to everybody who watched. Thank you to everybody who expressed relief. Guys, when you're doing comedy on a news channel, the one thing you got to be mindful of is the news has to take precedence. This is a heartbreaking story with Savannah Guthrie, and their need to find their mom supersedes my need to tell you a bunch of dirty jokes. I mean,
that's true. That is true.
I know you need to hear them. I know the world needs an outlet. I kind of pride myself on being one of those outlets. But the reality is, we weren't sure Saturday night when we walked into that studio if the show was going to happen. The only thing we knew is I went to see the Michael Jackson episode, the Michael Jackson Broadway musical. That's what Jenny and I did for Valentine's Day. We went to see Michael Jackson. And that Michael Jackson impersonator was so realistic, people wouldn't let their kids near him.
It's totally false.
I'm being silly. But the show aired. We had a lot of fun. Shout out to everybody who watched. Shout out to everybody who was on. It was such a great panel. Jillian Michael stopped by to call me fat for an hour, which she always does, and I love that about her. Kennedy was great. Jenny Fela stopped by to spike the football after she got a huge shout out for President Trump. And of course, Danny Polishuk played a game of steakhouse or gay bar.
What the hell did you say?
That's what we did on Saturday night, because the #1 entree on Valentine's Day, according to a study, was steak for two. But if you were watching out in Munich, the #1 entree far and away.
All right, this is supposed to get a sticker. It's supposed to be a TV.
Every single Democrat who went over to Munich is there. Why? It's a foreign policy conference. They're trying to flex some muscle on the world stage and say, hey, you can take me seriously for 2028.
Not even close.
Yo, it was embarrassing. Okay, AOC, and I'll walk you through. Obviously, she didn't know basic U.S. policy when it comes to Taiwan. She got the location of Venezuela wrong. There was one point where she got a huge round of applause for incorrectly dunking on Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio gave a speech that may have changed the course of world history. Because in getting up there and saying, we're not going to be just the managers of the Western civilization's decline, we're here to reassert ourselves on the world stage, the rest of the world kind of caught notice. And whether you were AOC or Hillary Clinton, there was legitimate pushback from a lot of the European leaders who realized it's literally Trump's way of the highway. Not only when it comes to doing business with our culture, but when it comes to preserving theirs. Okay, Hillary Clinton showed up flat out and said mass migration is bad. She also bragged that her and Obama deported more people than Trump. The one caveat there being that no Democrats were rioting in the street or attacking ICE agents or giving speeches at the Grammys because they didn't actually care about anybody being deported. Guys, the only time Democrats care about ICE is when they're putting it in their drinks on Epstein Island. Okay, they didn't care. This was all political expediency to go out and oppose Trump's efforts with ICE, knowing full well they never said a word when Obama was utilizing them.
Democrats are so full of crap.
Never forget that Tom Homan received a gold medal from Barack Obama for deporting over 1 million people. Yet Democrats get out there every day and say, oh, Tom Homan's the devil. What a fraud. It's garbage. Okay, so I want to walk you through this really quickly because this is what was happening at Munich. I know you might not have followed this. You might have been watching the Olympics. Maybe you were watching my show. That's amazing. Okay, it was great. We're thrilled that they're there. But the reality is, they go over there because they're trying to curry favor with Europeans who can back channel support them in 2028. Okay, aim your non-government organizations towards my fundraising. Put your media outlets behind some of the points I make. Elevate me in stature so I look more globally appealing and people want to hand me the keys to the car. That's the point of going to a global conference like Munich. If you're a congresswoman like AOC, okay, you're a governor like Gretchen Whitmer, or you're an a-hole like Gavin Newsom. Bingo. So here is AOC being asked in Munich about whether or not the U.S. should commit troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move in. Now, I gotta be honest, man. As word salads go, this is like a 9 on a scale of 1 to Kamala, but it's completely disqualifying for somebody who wants to lead the free world. Okay, this is someone trying to hit the word count on an Excel. That's what you're about to listen to. The ums, the ahs, the uhs. Why?
Should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move? I think that this is such a. I think that this is this is of course a very long-standing policy of the United States. And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point. And we want to make sure that we are moving in all of our economic research and our global positions to avoid any such confrontation and for that question to even arise.
She's not real smart.
That was Miss South Carolina stuff. Do you remember the poor girl who was asked a foreign policy question at the beauty pageant in 2007? You might not know her by name, Caitlin Upton, but she went viral for all the wrong reasons when she gave the following answer. I want you to keep in mind what you just heard AOC say and tell me what the difference is between that and this, because I couldn't spot it myself. Clip 3.
Recent polls have shown a fifth of Americans can't locate the U.S. on a world map. Why do you think this is?
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as, and I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. or should help South Africa. It should help Iraq and the Asian countries.
Oh man.
Some of these women, they're so stupid.
I mean, seriously, she could be a congresswoman right now. So you understand, AOC goes there because she wants to be a front runner in 2028. She sees the polling. Kamala's currently leading Gavin Newsom, which is crazy when you really think about the reality of that. But that's what the Democrats have. Okay, they are a party that by and large is catering to a lot of hashtag governance. What does hashtag governance mean? If it's trendy right now, we're for it. Okay, abolish ICE. But you guys used ICE to deport more people than anybody in history. Who cares? They're saying abolish ICE at the Grammys, abolish ICE. Defund the police. Well, what do you mean? You guys have 24-hour police protection because you know there's crime out there. What do you mean defund the police? Hey, who cares? It's trending on Twitter.
Yes, I support the defund movement because this is about the investment in our communities which have historically been divested.
Not only do we need to defund, but we need to dismantle and start anew.
Why use the word defund? Why use the word defund? And it's like, this is the word that's coming from the streets.
I mean, come on, AOC. Can you imagine being that stupid?
Defund, but again, hashtag governance.
Tax the rich.
Do you remember Amazon? Amazon was going to bring over 10,000 jobs to AOC's district that paid over $100,000 a year. You know what that does for restaurants? You know what it does for hotels? You know what that does for real estate? You know what it does for any local commerce at all? Transportation, Uber drivers, taxi drivers, everything in between. But because hashtag tax the rich was trendy, she didn't want to give Amazon a corporate tax abatement, so they moved out of town. But her support of open borders turned Jackson Avenue in Elmhurst into the hooker capital of the world. Literally, taxi drivers do something called AOCs. That's a fare. Look, let me explain this to you. We have two airports here in New York of significance in the immediate proximity to New York City: LaGuardia and JFK, John F. Kennedy Airport. Cab drivers will say, "Oh yeah, he's doing LaGuardias. Oh, he's doing JFKs." And what that means is you're doing consistent fares at those airports, making money, you spend a little time on the highway. It's a little less vehicular combat than what guys like me are dealing with when we're driving in proper New York City. So guys do JFK to do AOCs. Okay, now, because there is that much prostitution in AOC's district at night, guys that are nighttime drivers literally say, yeah, no, we're doing AOCs. It means you're taking businessmen who are here from out of town, heading out to AOC's district because that's where all the hookers are.
Oh, yes, I've read about that in the Bible.
That's a real thing, to do an AOC run. She did that. She chased out Amazon, replaced it with hookers. AOC literally killed the thing. Okay, it might not be nice to say, but that's the reality. You know, I'm here to talk to you about what's going on in the world. That is what's happening. Okay, and this is a woman who got up on the world stage, and I will tell you more about what she said. Whether she was wrong about Rubio, the location of Venezuela, okay, her wealth tax, which got crushed by countries who have already implemented one. Okay, do you know what happened in Norway, for instance, just to give you an idea of what's going on? Norway's wealth tax increase was expected to raise $146 million. It led to a $448 million net loss. In essence, they lost over $590 million worth of tax revenue because of their wealth tax. If you watch my TV show this weekend, what happened out in California? Gavin Newsom's getting ready to pass this massive wealth tax. Mark Zuckerberg just followed Elon Musk out the door. He's like, I'm not paying for this. Wait, what? I'm going to give a greater percentage of my wealth to a government that's billions and trillions of dollars in debt because they're funding all of these fraudulent entitled programs, and I can't even ask for a proper audit because they just call me a racist? I don't know. How about I just hold on to my money? That's what's happening in Europe, where they implement these wealth taxes. The wealthy people just leave. They're like, I didn't bust my ass for 40 years so I can finance mass migration and all the fraudulent programs that come with it. But that's ultimately what the AOC was speaking to. When she didn't know what she was talking about, it was embarrassing. When she did know what she was talking about, it was dangerous. So the reality is, yes, Munich was supposed to be AOC's big moment to get the keys to the car. And that is the good news. For 2 hours on the world stage, she had the keys to the car. The bad news is this.
You're listening to the man with the fashion sense that's all his own.
Looks like a gay bag lady.
This is Fox Across America with Jimmy Fallon.
why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed. Plus, free premium delivery with any bed and base. Ends Monday. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Greg is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm not an actor. I'm just a regular person. 8 years ago, I just didn't feel like I was on my game. I started taking Prevagen, and I want people to know that Prevagen has worked for me. Give it a try. I wanted to help you just like it has helped me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialists was compensated for their time.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Facebook question. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
I'm Dr. Howard Levine, Director of Cleveland Nasal Sinus and Sleep Center. During cold and flu season, I tell my patients the key to staying well is to pull out germs, mucus, bacteria, and viruses from the nose using the Navage Nasal Irrigator. I irrigate my own nose daily with Navage to stay healthy and after seeing sick patients.
For drug-free congestion relief, trust #1 doctor-recommended Navage. Available at CVS and Target.
Right home with Rich Cioli. Weekdays on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Jill and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Big thank you to the VA broadcasters for allowing myself, John Spencer, Greg Stocker, Phil Onquist. I would encourage Kelly on Twitter, which is smoking about all social media, and you wouldn't see your tweets anyway, pun intended. So congratulations to everybody.
Yes, and thank you very much.
Yes.
To all the listeners, all the audience for listening to us and making us super happy.
Yes. That means we get to go to Harrisburg again for a lunch, right?
Apparently, yeah.
Start your day with Jill and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
Overnight, we're expecting clouds at a low of 32. Tomorrow, we'll get up to 51 with some clouds and some sun just off and on. We could have some showers off and on, also a high of 51. Thursday, high 48, mostly cloudy. And Friday, we're expecting more rain with a high of 46.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. And people say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure, you know what that means, but it sounds important. Suddenly you're using words like jute and sisal, then you see the price and lose it, because how can the thing you walk and spill on cost so much? So you devote your life to taking down big rug. But then you remember that going on at Progressive could save you hundreds. So looks like big rug is safe for now. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurance not available in all states.
Buy low, sell high. It's always been the golden rule of investing. But retirement isn't about timing the market. It's about making sure that 100% of your money works 100% for you. And that's why smart retirees are choosing the exclusive crash-proof retirement system to grow and protect their nest eggs.
Hard words. I started with crash-proof retirement in 2024. I've averaged about 12.5% over the last 2 years. The market may be high now, but it will go down at some point. And that's where the peace of mind comes in because my retirement is secure.
Kathleen Rocket, Linehorn, PA. With the crash-proof retirement system, we've gotten over 10% this year. The market can still go down, but I don't lose any of that money. We're living proof of it. It works.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the William Penn Inn on February 17th. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
To tip off this NBA season on FanDuel, you can choose your own rewards, which means you can play your game any way you want.
I get to choose my
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're asking.
Now, excuse me while I lock in.
All customers choose your own reward right now in the FanDuel app. 21 plus and present in select states. 18 plus in Kentucky. Opt-in required. Rewards are not withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration. Leg requirement and max wager amount. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm caught up in the game. My attention is on every play and every whistle. But what I'm missing is a signal coming from my kidneys. That signal isn't like a ref's whistle. It's more of a silent SOS, which could be warning me of an increased risk for events like heart attack or stroke. And a way I can catch that signal? A simple urine test called UACR. If you have type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure, talk to your doctor about the UACR test. Detect the SOS. Visit detectthesos.com to learn more.
You're a developer who wants to innovate. Instead, you're stuck fixing bottlenecks and fighting legacy code. MongoDB can help. It's a flexible, unified platform that's built for developers by developers. MongoDB is accident-prone and enterprise-ready, with the capabilities you need to ship AI apps fast. That's why so many of the Fortune 500 trust MongoDB with their most critical workloads. Ready to think outside rows and columns? Start building at mongodb.com/build.
They don't make furniture like they used to. If you're tired of cheap, mass-produced junk, let me tell you about Bucks County Estate Traders. Their massive Hatfield showroom has over 16,000 pieces of high-end furniture, brands like Sticker, Baker, and more. The kind of quality craftsmanship that stands the test of time.
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
Thousands compared to new retail prices. No matter your style, classic, modern, rustic, or traditional, you'll find stunning pieces that fit today's homes. Whether you're furnishing your living or dining room, home office, or even a man cave, Bucks County
That day is
Estate Traders
okay.
has it all. And unlike the big box stores, if you see something you love, you can take it home the same day. Every piece
How's
has a
yours?
QR code which displays details instantly. And their expert staff is the best in the business with no pushy salespeople. They're straight shooters who know their stuff. And pro tip, check out their website and call ahead. They'll have the pieces you want ready to show you. Visit BucksCountyEstateTraders.com or stop by their showroom in Hatfield and tell them Nick sent you.
Now you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Oh, good.
Oh, girl, it is locked across America with Jimmy Fallon. Happy President's Day. My buddy Ken Wood, he's the son of the late, great Charles Osgood, CBS Sunday Morning. Always used to say, no work, no responsibilities. They should call it Vice President's Day. Silly stuff. AOC be lucky to make it that far. She might have disqualified herself. Now, the good news is they don't have a very deep bench in the Democratic Party. You got Newsom Anglin. You got Gretchen Whitmer. I'll play Gretchen Whitmer in a second. Here's Gretchen Whitmer saying she has no idea about foreign policy. AOC might even know more than she does. None.
On Ukraine, what does victory look like?
No, please. I'd love to hear your answer.
It is. The two that I am on the panel with are much more steeped in foreign policy than a governor is. I do think that Ukraine's independence, keeping their land mass, and having the support of all the allies, I think is the goal from my vantage point. Go ahead, Ambassador. Do a better job.
So here she is. She said, oh, the two people on the panel. AOC was on that panel with her. She goes, she knows better than I am. Here's AOC. Okay. Mocking Marco Rubio for his speech about the West. There's only one small problem. Here it is, clip 5.
You are starting to see the ascent of the right, even in places like Munich. Marco Rubio's speech was a pure appeal to Western culture. My favorite part was when he said that American cowboys came from Spain. I believe the Mexicans and descendants of African enslaved peoples would like to have a word on that.
Life is hard, but it's harder when you're stupid.
So why do I say that? Because American cowboys did come from Spain. Why? Because Spain brought the horse to Mexico, which is what
I can't say I'm excited for any Lego sets because it's not really my main hobby. This set here was something I picked up several years ago, and I've had it in my closet. As a matter of fact, all the recent sets that I put together are things that I picked up during the pandemic. I mostly collect diecast. And the most of the Lego I have are Speed Champions. So if I was going to pick anything up, it might be the Michael Schumacher set, but I'm not going to get it right away. I just picked up a couple icon sets, F1 cars, and they were on sale on Amazon. So I can wait for the set. I don't have to get it right away. My biggest problem and the reason why I never put together this Lego was I thought it would, I don't have room for it. So even with the Speed Champions, I don't have room for it. Even my diecast goes in the garage. I don't have anything on display. So I've got 14, 15, and 16 left, but I think I'm going to stop now because there's so many small parts in here and hold off and finish this up on the weekend. I'm off today from work because it's a federal holiday. That's why I'm working on it. Plus, I have to contact Lego because I'm missing.
We earn 17%. That money is ours. The interest is put in.
I'm missing something.
We know that our money is safe and it will continue to grow with the market.
Let's see if I missed something here.
We made that we did as well in Crash Proof as we would have.
I know I'm not going to be picking up any.
Crash Proof retirement means to us that our future is bright and we're going to be able to go forward and enjoy our
Anything on March 1st. I can wait. I don't know why people get in such a rush to go pick that stuff up because it's.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the William Penn Inn on February 17th.
It'll be around a lot.
722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com. In a world of endless notifications, there could be an important one you're missing. Your kidneys may be signaling an SOS. With high blood pressure or type 2 diabetes,
You might miss something.
warning you of early signs of damage, which may put you at higher risk for events like heart attack or stroke. But there's a simple test that can help spot a hidden signal. Ask your doctor about a urine test called UACR to help detect kidney disease and heart risk early.
Titan Mechs, are they the ones for
SOS.com today.
Tired of database limitations and
or any mech is a Titan Mech or they just the ones for Ninjago?
It's ASIC compliant, enterprise ready, and fluent in AI. Start building faster at mongodb.com/build.
They don't make furniture like they used to. If you're tired of cheap, mass-produced junk, let me tell you about Bucks County Estate Traders. Their massive Hatfield showroom has over 16,000 pieces of high-end furniture, brands like Stickley, Baker, and more. The kind of quality craftsmanship that stands the test of time.
Oh, yeah, well, saving money's good.
No matter your style,
What are you saving money for?
traditional, you'll find stunning pieces that fit today's homes. Whether you're furnishing your living or dining room, home office, or even a man cave, Bucks County Estate Traders has it all. And unlike the big box stores, if you see something you love, you can take it home the same day. Every piece has a QR code which displays details.
The Ninjago city sets look really nice, I have to admit, but I'm not. I got no place to put that stuff. I got no place to put this. I just like the minifigures that came with it.
Or stop by their showroom in Hatfield and tell them Nick thank you.
Tired of AI search that misses the point and can't understand context? Voyage AI by MongoDB helps solve this. Built by a world-class research team from Stanford, MIT, and Berkeley, Voyage AI delivers industry-leading embedding and re-ranking models that capture meaning and refine results with precision. Whether you're building semantic search, RAG applications, or agentic AI, aim for greater accuracy and reliability without the complexity. Ready to ship AI that works? Start building at mongodb.com/build.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for them. And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. Ah, but looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fan favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Visit NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
A promise is food, born of intention, fueled by commitment. It's seeing things through.
How old are you?
Always showing up. And we know a thing or two about promises here at Susan G. Komen. Over 40 years ago, we locked arms with you toward one vision: a world without breast cancer. By investing in life-saving research and standing up for patient rights, we are shifting the system so all people everywhere get the care they deserve. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment, we've got you. And if you are driven to raise money,
No, I understand how you feel about saving money.
Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cure.
Because I work for the government, so back I was out of work for 6 weeks because of the shutdown last year. So I had an emergency fund and I had to use that to live on. And since I work full time, I can pay my bills, but I used to be able to work overtime. My current position doesn't offer that, but I got less stress in it. So it's a trade-off. However, when I was working all this overtime, I was able to save quite a bit. And I would add some to my emergency fund. I would invest some. And then I would save a little bit for a vacation. So I had a couple different accounts. I'd save for vacation, invest, and emergency fund. So I run like a strict budget, but sometimes I do splurge when I shouldn't. And I just did that the other day. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, when I bought these Lego sets, but I think the total came to like $192 for 2 icon sets, 2 speech champions, but I had $35 in credit from gifts I received from work, and so it cost me $160. But I just like the cars, so.
There's nothing contrived about our show. And I bring that up as a way of saying people who listen to the show day in and day out and know that to be true.
But saving money is good. As a teenager,
it was so embarrassing to me as an American. It truly was. Like, I'm not
You can
actually
invest
going
money.
around hanging my head in shame.
I don't know if you can strictly open up an account yourself, but
But I hate that we've gotten to
if
this
you're
place
interested in investing money,
where one political
you can
party
save a
is
portion
failing.
of it
Like, the Democrats are failing right now.
and invest a portion of it in
Anything they oppose, they previously
in the
stood
S&P
for,
500.
anything they stand for, they once opposed. It works
So-
in every direction, but this is what happens when you're not committed to anything. other than
That would be my
never
recommendation to you, but
Okay, is the reason I say this, and it'll take us right back into the conversation of what happened in Munich. Okay, right now, me and you are living in a world where 84% of Americans
and you could take
84%. That is correct. Okay, it's over 90 in the Republican Party. It's over 80 in the Democrat Party. 82% of Latinos want voter ID, 76% of black people want voter ID, 85% of white people want voter ID. The point is, everybody wants voter ID. They don't think it's discriminatory. So the idea that like Chuck Schumer goes on TV and says, this is Jim Crow 2.0 is
but
what
somebody
it
your
is.
age, you could do the S&P 500
And I say that why? Because no serious
and
76% of black Americans are voting for Jim
just
Crow. No serious
add to it every week, every month, whatever the case is,
So he's flat out ignoring the question.
and
Tapper on CNN, he
just
doesn't push back.
keep adding to it. Don't worry about the ups and downs in the stock market.
Go further, you say it's Jim Crow 2.0.
If the stock market went to zero, we'd have more trouble than just a down market. But if you're a teenager, you got time to weather storms in different market conditions, and you'll end up with a lot of money. I got a few brokerage accounts, and I got my plan at work that I contribute to, and I got more money in my plan at work than I do these other accounts because I don't mess with it. I just, contribute a certain percentage of my pay. It goes into the fund, and I don't try to buy and sell. I just go with the ups and downs, and I got more money there than I do anywhere else. But outside my work, I do invest for a specific reason, which is for dividend income. But as a teenager, you don't need income. You just need growth. And you shouldn't take my word for it. There's plenty of YouTube people that, if you're interested in investing, and if you want to save money, you could still do it with a brokerage account, and you could put your money in a money market fund. It pays a little bit higher interest than just, having it in your bank. So the only difference is it's not FDIC insured in a money market fund, but the broker would have SIPC insurance, I believe. But money market funds usually stay steady at $1. They just pay interest every month that's higher than a regular savings account.
But do you understand how insulting that is to anyone's intelligence you'd say it to? The Nazis killed 6 million people. They were rounding up Jews trying to create a master race. Okay? That's what show us your papers means. In the Democrat world, voter ID is somehow comparable to that?
That is a fact.
Try it.
Guys, everybody in the
Talk to your parents about it. See what they say.
37 states already have voter ID laws. We covered this on Fox News Saturday night.
Either your mom or dad probably has some type of investment account at work.
Joe Biden forced them to move the Major League All-Star game out of Georgia. I don't remember that ever happening, but it did, because at the time, Georgia passed a voter ID law, and Joe Biden reacted by saying this.
This is Jim Crow on steroids, what they're doing in Georgia and 40 other states.
Jim Crow on steroids is what Joe Biden said. This is worse than the original Jim Crow. But lo and behold, Georgia passed a voter ID law, and in 2022 and in 2024, they broke their all-time records for voter turnout. Think about that. South Carolina implemented a voter ID law in 2012. 36% was their participation in national elections in 2012. Do you know what it is today? 65%. So is voter ID law holding back the vote? And here is Chuck Schumer saying the opposite. Clip 26.
About 83% of the American people, including majority Democrats, support voter ID laws.
Yeah, the voter ID laws that first, each state can have its own voter ID laws, and some do and some don't. But secondly, what they are proposing in this so-called SAVE Act is like Jim Crow 2.0. They make it so hard to get any kind of voter ID that more than 20 million legitimate people, mainly poor people and people of color, will not be able to vote under this law. We will not let it pass in the Senate. We are fighting it tooth and nail. It's an outrageous proposal that is, that shows the sort of political bias of the MAGA right. They don't want poor people to vote. They don't want people of color to vote because they often don't vote for them.
I mean, really?
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
And you know who would agree with me for playing that soundbite? Chuck Schumer. So you just heard Chuck Schumer say this is Jim Crow 2.0. Republicans don't want minorities to vote. They don't want anyone of color to vote. It's so hard to get ID laws. This is disenfranchising people of color. But here's Chuck Schumer at a previous time in his Senate career saying ID needs to be mandatory so we can stop so many illegals from committing fraud. Oh, wow! Guys, I'm not making this up. I'm not asking you to take my word for it. This is where the Democrats are failing us as a country. If you're a Democrat voter, the people you vote for are failing you because they're not representing your interests. As Kennedy said on my show Saturday night, if every election is going to be the most important election of our lifetimes, why wouldn't we want them to be secure? But here's Chuck Schumer agreeing with us. This is 1996 Chuck Schumer. So he's like a hardcore right-winger compared to what you get in the Democrat Party today. Listen to this, clip 28.
Let's admit the truth.
You might need your parents' signature to open up a brokerage account. Now, I don't remember. I didn't have a brokerage account until I was in my mid-20s because when I was your age, I was too busy spending on junk.
And the number one answer we give our constituents is when they come here, they can get jobs, get benefits against the law,
And
fraud.
Did you hear that?
There's plenty of information that's free on the internet. God, what the heck is that site? Investopedia.com.
There's no higher form of
Investopedia.com would give you a lot of information. I know you probably heard of Robinhood, the broker, but I would actually go with Fidelity. Both Robinhood and Fidelity will let you invest at least $1 into an investment. However, Fidelity has more research tools. So, but for you, as a teenager, anything to do with the S&P 500. Okay. If you can invest in mutual funds, you can invest in S&P 500 ETFs. So there's several of them, and I have money in an S&P 500 ETF. It's God, what is it? Shoot, I have to look this up. Let me see. I have to look it up. But before you do anything, and before you even listen to me, do some research first. Find out what it is. I don't know if you necessarily need your father's help other than to open up the brokerage account. But if you look on Fidelity.com's website, about opening up an account, or if you send them an email, tell them you're under 18 and see what you need to do, because you could open up an account without putting any money in there, but I don't know if they'll let you because you're 18. Give me 1 second. Let me.
Republicans just don't want minorities to vote. And the second one, where it says we need mandatory ID so these illegals stop committing so much fraud. But now we need to pretend there's no fraud.
You find out the name of that mutual fund.
That's why when people listen,
I'm sorry, the
stupid, but not.
ETF that I put money into.
That's the point. It's an insult to your intelligence to say ICE is the Gestapo. Like Gavin Newsom was in Munich, Germany. Home of the Nazis.
It's a ticker symbol SPYM, as in Michael. It's the State Street Spider portfolio S&P 500 ETF. It's right now $80.20 a share. There's another one called SPY. It's also State Street. That's S&P 500. That's the bigger one. That one is $680.95 a share. That's why I do SPY M, because it's smaller, so you get more shares with less amount of money, but basically it's the same thing. And then there's one called VOO, which is with that's a oh shoot, what the heck is it? Vanguard. That's a Vanguard S&P 500 fund, and that's $626.62 a share. So, you can also go with growth ETFs, which I also do. I put money into a Charles Schwab ETF, SCHG, as in go.
They have the DHS uniform on. If you're watching these protests, is anybody there that's not identifiable as a federal agent? Is there a single person there that you don't know?
The answer would be no.
No, they're not undercover. The only reason their faces are masked is because if drug
That's the Schwab U.S. Large Cap Growth ETF.
So ICE agents are masked, not because it's a Hitler secret police. They're wearing federal government uniforms.
That's down year to date, but that doesn't bother me. That's 30.41 a share.
But you think that's a good line when you lack self-awareness.
Also, like if you go to Investopedia, there might be tools to test your
we have seen stuff like this. You just didn't say anything back then.
Tolerance for, up and down markets.
But anybody that hell-bent on getting power,
to give you an idea whether you're a conservative investor, you can tolerate risk, and that might help you out as well.
Okay, I'm telling you, like they can't.
But that's just a few that you could look into. I'm not going to recommend anything to you. And you also got mutual funds. These are ETFs. They trade like stock, but there's also mutual funds that you could put money into as well. So anyway, you have a good night.
Let's talk Madison Trust, because most people don't realize what their IRA can actually do. So stop letting Wall Street call the shots. Upgrade to a Madison Trust.
All right, I
IRA.
appreciate it. Have a good night.
IRA, and it invests in
I'm actually going to sign off now because I'm going to finish this up over the weekend with these remaining bags. I'm not going to be able to finish it now.
That's MadisonTrust.com and take charge today. It's not magic. It's Madison Trust. Results may vary. Consult with a financial professional.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow.